The former Warrior buries a three, and San Antonio wins the game.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Right. And it's on here. And we are going home.
Well, a tremendous Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, the Gregor Show is presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor100. What does that mean? Well, pretty simple, Gregor100. And when you register, make a deposit, get a $100 casino play. If you're a new player, get a $100 play. So check it out at playalberta.ca as we got a jam-packed show for you today. Lots to discuss. The Edmonton Oilers. Remember what we said yesterday, Connor, on the show? The Oilers are making the playoffs. It was lunacy to be worried about it. And look, in 24 hours later, the Oilers are in the playoffs. And like, they'd have to lose out. Calgary has to win out to catch him. It ain't happening. Okay. We said that yesterday. It's not happening. And the Flames, you were so close to keeping your slim chances alive. And then you allow 2 goals in 8 seconds. Ouch. And then they lose in overtime. So giving up the 2 goals in 8 seconds, tough enough. But had they won in overtime, it really wouldn't have mattered. They still would have got the 2 points. But they didn't. And meanwhile, the Minnesota Wild in an old school game against the Sharks, 8-7 in overtime. They get Eriksson Ek back in the lineup, scores 4 goals. They get Kaprizov back in the lineup, scores the overtime winner. Safe to say, you get your healthy players back, it can make an impact. Oiler fans saw it up front, close and personal last night. Connor McDavid back in the lineup, gets 3 assists, plays on a line with Connor Brown and Jeff Skinner. Brown gets 2 goals, including the game winner with 20 seconds remaining. And the Edmonton Oilers, hey, they're 9-6-1 in their last 16 games. In those 16 games, McDavid's missed 8, Draisaitl's missed 7, Frederic's missed 15, Ekholm's missed 12, Stuart Skinner's missed 7. Like, they've had a lot of injuries. And they've actually played better than they did in the previous funk from January 28th through until the trade deadline. Because that was the worst stretch of the season for the Oilers. They didn't really have any injuries. They just didn't play very well. But they've recovered. And I'm fascinated. I said, if I view the Oilers healthy, I think Edmonton is without question a legit contender in my eyes. No question in my mind. Now, as Connor McDavid said after the game, it's as much of a mental hurdle as physical. You know, you get back in the game, you've had an injury, you don't want to re-aggravate it. And what did he say? I don't know how many more tight turns I can do by myself. I think at some point you just got to go. And you got to see, obviously you got to get the doctor to give you the green light. And he did. And McDavid comes out, and I think, you know what? I noticed his shifts were a little bit quicker and shorter than normal, which is to be expected, right? I get it. Understand it. And as the game went on, you could just see him getting more comfortable. You saw him kind of dancing around guys more, right? I think we all saw it. And you get McDavid, his timing, if you get that back, which we saw more as the game went along, that's a huge, huge benefit. So the Oilers now Leon Draisaitl. The Oilers have the day off today. Leon Draisaitl is going to take the morning skate tomorrow, and then he is going to update the media on where his status is at. Could we see Leon Draisaitl tomorrow? Damn right you could. So that would be a big boost. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins could be ready to go by tomorrow. We'll see. He missed a game due to sickness. Obviously not going to rush him back from that. Jake Wallman, According to Chris Knobloch, day to day, they're hoping he'd be ready for tomorrow, his former team. If not, he'll come back sometime against Winnipeg or LA. Doesn't sound like it's anything serious, but it illustrates, sometimes they're rushing guys back. They're never rushing anybody back. If anything, I think they're being ultra cautious at this time of the year. And that's why Wallman didn't play last night. They go with 5 defensemen. Brett Kulak played 29 minutes. Bouchard and Nurse played 28 minutes. Those 3 guys were a tower of power on the back end for Edmonton. Like Nurse, a few more assists in that game. Kulak, a big one. The Oilers' defense, if you didn't know, has the 6th most points in the NHL as a D-corps. And they are 4th, I think, in assists as a defense corps. And that's what having a lot of guys maybe not producing, because, you're not the guy shooting the puck as much when you're the D-man. So overall, they can score from the back end. And I mentioned that yesterday. If you weren't going to have McDavid in the lineup, they're going to need some other guys to chip in offensively, and they got it from their D-men. So now you got 2 games against the Sharks. In the middle of that, you've got Winnipeg and LA back-to-back. I'll be curious to see how many games and who plays which game for the Oilers. Like 2 games in a row now, you're only dressing 17 skaters. So number one, they like to get healthier. They had to put Klingberg on LTIR just so they could dress Noah Philp. So I'll explain that to you, because Noah Philp was recalled on an emergency basis after the game in Anaheim when the Oilers had 17 skaters. Now, and it's just skaters. It doesn't matter if it's defense or forward. If it's you play a skater short, you recall a player, and he's essentially going to replace someone who wasn't in the lineup. So now when Connor McDavid comes back in, suddenly Philp is no longer considered emergency recall because you had an injured guy coming in. And even though Wallman and Nugent Hopkins came out, it's a very weird rule. But Philp can't replace those guys because they were in the lineup when he was recalled for the emergency basis. Make sense? So now what the Oilers had to do was they had to find, and if John Klingberg had played the game against the Calgary Flames on March 29th, he wouldn't have been eligible for LTIR because there's only 9 games left in April. But because he didn't play that game, and his last game was Seattle on the 27th, now you can go retroactive. He has the 10 games, and you have to hit that. It's not like, we got 6 games. You could have buy an LTIR. That means you can't play 4 in the playoffs. It's not how it works. So kind of lucky in that sense. Otherwise, they would have had to go, 11 and 5, which wouldn't have been the end of the world, but obviously wouldn't have been ideal. So that's why they put Klingberg on LTIR. They also got the note that he's not going to be ready. Right? They thought early in the week that maybe he would be. They got another test. He's not going to be ready. So his infection, that's part of it. It's not responding. So he's done, not going to be ready in a week to play any of the final regular season games. And honestly, at this point, the only way I think you see John Klingberg in the playoffs is if you have injuries to 2 defensemen. Because you have Stetcher and you have Emberson, and they are battling for the 6 and 7 spot. So yeah, I don't see it. I'm not going to play Klingberg ahead of one of those guys. So when you look at the Oilers situation, it's not like, people say, they'll rest a lot of guys in San Jose. How? They don't have a cap space. They don't have tons of room to bring up a boatload of guys. Right? They just don't. Now, when Rodri goes down, when Skinner's healthy, that's one body that could come up for him. Right? So that's the easy one. But other than that, now they do have a little extra room because of LTR. So they do have 1.2-ish now in cap space that they could recall someone. So yeah, but they don't have a boatload, funny enough. So looking at the other news around the NHL, the Oilers, everybody should take a big deep breath. Now it's just a matter of, are they healthy? Now injuries are going to be key. And when I look at the Western Conference, Jack Eichel missing again for Vegas. So what's his injury? Obviously they're being cautious, but if he's not 100%, that's a concern for Vegas. Gabe Vilardi's still out for Winnipeg, and Gabe Vilardi is a huge piece of that team. Nathan McKinnon's not playing tonight for Colorado. Now, reports are that it's just minor, and they're obviously they've got nothing to play for. They're locked into third place, so they know where they're finishing. Obviously, McKinnon doesn't care that much about the Art Ross, so he'll sit out. But Ryan Lindgren just got hurt against Vegas. Josh Manson's still out. They're hoping he'll be back before the playoffs, but getting guys back is one thing. How effective are they is the other, and that's the wild card for the Oilers. I don't know if any of us can say for certain how good the Oilers are. I'll say this. I believe the Oilers, if they get their guys back and they're healthy, then the Oilers are one of the favorites in my eyes. McDavid, Draisaitl, Ekholm, Skinner, Frederick, Kane, like that's significant additions to your team. Significant. So it'll help. There's no doubt in my mind. But how effective they're going to be, we won't know until the playoffs start. Throwing Evander Kane, it's another one. But there are injuries a lot of places. Heiskanen in Dallas, that's massive for that team. It sounds like Tyler Seguin will be ready. I spoke to Colton Parayko in the press box last night. Found out he's actually, this summer, is going to be, his brother's a pilot for WestJet. And so he's always wanted to be a pilot. So he's training to get his pilot's license. There's a little place in St. Louis where you can, you obviously have to rent the plane to get the hours and stuff like that. So he's got it all mapped out. That's what he's doing. But he's hoping to play Saturday in Seattle. If not, then definitely next Tuesday. So Blues fans, he'll get in a game before the end of the regular season and then should be good to go for the playoffs. So lots of teams are getting some guys back. And injuries this year, especially in the Western Conference, might be the deciding factor when it's all said and done for who we see win and who we see lose out. Because not every player is going to be effective coming off, right? Like they'll be back, but some of them are going to be playing banged up and they might be at 80%. They might be, we don't know. And I don't know who the players are. Like it's kind of good or bad, depending on how you look at it. So we'll see where it goes from there. NBA playoffs, the Golden State Warriors, that's a tough loss. So now they drop a game back of both the Clippers and the Nuggets and Memphis. They're a half game back in Memphis. Memphis has a game in hand. And the Warriors, then you're in the play-in. And even though they're the favorites, that's just extra wear and tear. It's a few extra games that you don't want. So, Sacramento and Dallas are going to be the 9 and the 10 seed. And the Warriors, Minnesota, Memphis, one of them is going to be number 6. And it looks like the other two most likely are going to be 7 and 8. So, man, there's some great playoff races all over the place. I love it. You look in the East. The East is pretty much set. Orlando, Atlanta, Chicago, and Miami. It's just a matter of who's going to be 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's really kind of all it is. Orlando looks like they're locked in at number 7. Atlanta and Chicago are tied. Well, half a game separates them for 8 and 9. And, it's obviously the higher you are, you have a slight advantage, right? That's just how it goes. Like if you're that number 8 team, you can lose a game and still keep playing. So that's their advantage there. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, I thought the IR rule stayed at 10 games and 24 days. Well, Craig, guess what? So did I. And so did Puckpedia, and so did many people. Even some guys around the league were, how can I use the word, misled on thinking that it's both. Turns out that it's not when it comes down to the end of the season, which is very weird because they deem that some teams' schedules certain times might be different. Some teams have more games down the stretch, others have less. So it's just as long as you meet the 10-game requirement, then you can go in LTIR. So any player can be retroactive LTIR if their game was basically game 72, which means their team has 10 games left. Now, obviously, if it's 71 or 2, then you have 12, 13, great. But that's the minimum requirement. And so that's why the Oilers were allowed to put John Klingberg on. Doesn't need to read the 24-day period. So that allowed it. Hey, boys, Is it just me, but I'm loving Pickard's consistency? No problem for me if he starts the playoffs. Love the show. Rod in the Valley. Yeah, Calvin Pickard's been solid for the Oilers. That's exactly what you want from your backup goalie. And you want him to put you in a position that you're not shoving your starter, but you're challenging your starter. And I think that's what we're seeing. So now Stuart Skinner, all reports were yesterday, there's a good chance Stuart Skinner is going to play tomorrow. So he'll play that game. He's obviously not going to play both of the back-to-backs. So at most, he'll play 3 games. I would think at minimum he would play 2, unless he comes in that game on Friday and just isn't feeling good. So we'll kind of see where it goes from here. But it sounds like Skinner's going to play tomorrow. He's definitely dressing. So worst case scenario, I guess he's the backup. And then we'll see. But I think in an ideal world, they'd like to get him in 2 games. Now, the Oilers play, let's say he plays Friday. Then he plays one of the games Sunday or Monday. Then he plays again Wednesday. They don't play till probably Sunday. That's not a heavy tax. And if anything, he probably wants to get in a little bit more action. So I'll be curious to see, how many games he plays, what the Oilers do in regards to goaltending. I still believe it's going to be Stu Skinner. Unless he really struggles here in his last few games, I think he'll be the starter for game 1. Now, how long that'll last will depend on his play. Cons, who do you think starts game 1 of the playoffs?
That's kind of the way I've been thinking as well. Even though going for the last couple of weeks here, I feel like I've been more confident when it is Calvin Pickard getting the call between the pipes. I just feel like when they get back into the playoffs, they'll go with the guy that had been there and got them there last year. So I hope that he plays well enough that there's not much of a controversy or anything going in, but I think it'll be Stuart Skinner.
Okay.
But I will say, we talked about it, we do Who'd You Rather on Fantasy Frenzy. And it was, who'd you rather start right now? And this is when Skinner was healthy. And I went Calvin Pickard. Just when he's out there, just kind of feeling a little bit more confident in his game a couple of weeks ago, though.
Yeah, I still, usually coaches, they don't want a guy to lose his job due to an injury, right? Not always, but usually. So we'll see. I still think it's going to be Skinner to start, but Calvin Pickard has definitely played well enough that if Skinner stumbles, now you got to remember goals against aren't always on the goalie. Let's say they lose game 1 and they give up 4 goals and Skinner plays great, but they allow 4 goals. That doesn't mean you're automatically going to blame the goaltender. So you have to look at it. How did the goals go in? How did he play it? Did Skinner make wrong reads? Right? Did a few shots go right through him? Those are going to be it's not just the amount of goals. It's how do the goals go in? How is he reading the play? But it is something for sure that they're going to monitor. And now I've been told that Skinner's feeling very good. And obviously, chomping at the bit to get back in, wants to get some game action in. So does he just play 2? Does he maybe play 3? We'll see. 2:19, quick break. Coming up on the program today, Wyshynski will be by. We also have Jeff Merrick joins us on Thursday. We got Thirsty Thursdays. George Richards will be by. Florida, kind of like the Oilers, look like maybe locked into that number 3 hole in their division. Speck, Colin Livingston will be by. Also Thomas Hall. And I'll give you a little update. The WHL draft lottery goes tonight, 6:00. There are 21 balls in the lottery. However, teams can only move up 2 spots. So 6, 5, and 4 can't win. So there's only 3 teams. Edmonton has a 57.1% chance to have the number 1 pick. Whether they win, if 4, 5, or 6 win the lottery, Edmonton maintains the number 1 spot. Make sense? Then you got Regina and Kelowna. Regina at 8%, and then Kelowna at 19%. Those are the odds to win the lottery. So 57 for the Oil Kings. And not just win it, but maintain the number 1 pick. Because as mentioned, if 6 wins, they move up to 4. If 5 wins, they move up to 3. If 4 wins, they move up to 2. And either way, Edmonton maintains it. The only way Edmonton doesn't win is if one of the 2nd or 3rd place team balls gets drawn. There's 21 balls that go into it. Edmonton has 6, then it goes down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So they own basically out of the 21 balls, they own 12 of them. No, I shouldn't say own, but the 12 will impact that they get the number 1 pick. If Regina or Kelowna's ball gets drawn, then they will move up, and Edmonton then will move down to the number 2 hole. That's as far as they can drop. So I guess that's good news. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Blue Jays baseball is back on Sports 1440. This Saturday and Sunday, listen live to the broadcast of Canada's favorite team. Proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball. We are Sports 1440.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Common thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, till the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle light furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and Echo Pro Attachment Series. With one power head and 16 different attachments, the Echo PAS powers through almost any spring cleanup job. And speaking of power, Echo now has a battery-powered power head that uses the same attachments as gas. Find out how commercial landscapers can save 20% for 24 months with the Landscaper Fleet Discount Program. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
At Vision Credit Union, we've been around a long time. In fact, we've been serving rural Alberta communities for 75 years. We launched in 1950 with $128, 21 members, and a mission to help our communities. It's still our mission today. That's why we return 75% of Vision's profits to members, offer full-service banking in underserved rural communities, and prioritize contributing to charitable causes in our hometowns. We're here for good. VisionCU.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2.25. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Of course, you can always listen to us at sports1440.ca. As for all of you golf fans, officially golf season has begun. Justin Rose currently 6 under through 14 at the Masters. Corey Connors, the Canadian, Scotty Scheffler, both in the clubhouse at 4 under. You got Tyrrell Hatton. Rory McIlroy is 3 under through 10. And so those are the top 5 guys so far. The only guys below -2 on day one of the Masters. Now, Corey Connors has finished top 10 in 2020, 21, and 22. He's done great on Thursday and Fridays. Sundays have been his nemesis. Could this be the year where Corey Connor figures it out on Sunday? Would be great to see, man. I'd love it. I love it. I think he's due. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. The new cheesy jalapeno and bacon quarter pounder is here. So if lunch is lingering and you want cheesy jalapeno pepper sauce, perfectly picked and pickled jalapeno peppers on a quarter pounder with bacon, beefy burger, you know where to get it. Only at McDonald's. As Greg Wyshynski from ESPN joins us. And Greg, we are officially down to the final week of the NHL's regular season. And while it's not official, I think we know who the playoff teams are going to be. The East, Montreal has an 8-point lead on Detroit, the Islanders, the Jackets, and the Rangers. Basically, one win forces all those other teams to go 5-0. Not happening. They're in. What do you give the chance of the Canadians against either Toronto or Washington? Because it's not 100% certain. It seems they'll play Washington, but what are your chances? And do you think Demidov can be the Cole Caulfield of 2021?
First of all, I'd like to point out that this season is an amazing boost for my playoff expansion argument. The wild card races are done. We still have another week to go. If we had a 9th seed and a 10th seed involved in the postseason, we still have plenty to talk about. We'd have like 5 or 6 teams still engaged in the conversation
of mediocrity,
right now,
Greg. Of mediocrity.
Exactly.
Yes.
And exciting one-game play-ins and playoff revenue flowing through the league. I looked at the numbers for Montreal since February 1st because I was trying to figure out how all of this happened. I mean, a lot of it happened because the rest of the East is garbage, and they all fell over each other and couldn't get to the wild card seed. Offensively, they're just outside the top 10, 5-on-5. I mean, they're good. They can put the puck in the net, and now that Davidoff's going to be there, they're going to be even better. Defensively, they're still problematic. I think they're like bottom 5 in expected goals against per 60 since February 1st. First round series against the Capitals, it's going to be intriguing for a couple of reasons. One, obviously, is the tie back to the classic Montreal upset of the Capitals in 2010 with the Yaroslav Halak series. There's like Capitals fans have a long memory, and they remember the last time they played a Canadiens team with nothing to lose and an upstart young star defenseman. And then the other interesting part is we don't really kind of know what the Capitals are right now. Like, they're a little bit banged up. They've been living through the unprecedented hype and bizarre experience of this Ovechkin record playing out in the final weeks of the season after they've already kind of like clinched everything they need to clinch. So like in the afterglow of the Ovi record, now that they can kind of refocus on this playoff, coming up. What are they? Are they still locked in? I don't quite know where the Capitals are as far as quality of play, because the last couple of weeks have been a struggle for them, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder if it's because they got nothing to play for. I don't know. It's a great question. We've seen the Boston Bruins team that rolled right into the playoffs. They still lost out. Tampa Bay, when they had 60 wins, they lost out. Like, anything can happen in the playoffs. We've seen it beforehand. When I look at it from a matchup standpoint, I wonder about Montreal's size and inexperience against the big, heavy Washington team. Some matchups, Greg, in the playoffs, it's all about matchups. And I wonder if that's a good matchup for Montreal.
Yeah, and Carberry, when he has them playing the system, they're efficient and they're good and they can beat you in a number of ways. But I mean, like I said, Protas is out. Logan Thompson, who's been their best goalie all season, was dinged up. They're kind of getting hurt at the wrong time, not playing good hockey at the wrong time. And is that symptomatic of off ice stuff kind of swirling around the team vis-a-vis having Wayne Gretzky and Gary Bettman in the building for several of your games down the stretch because Ovechkin's trying to break this record? I don't know. But they do have a week to kind of get their legs under them again, refocus, get a little healthy, and try to avoid what would be a rather stunning upset.
For sure. The Western Conference has a lot of really good teams, and they have a lot of teams that have, I think it's safe to say, some injury concerns right now, right? You look at Edmonton, obviously. Now, they keep saying they're going to be healthy, but we got to see it to truly believe it. Jack Eichel in Vegas, Gabe Velarde in Winnipeg, Heiskanen in Dallas. It's kind of all over. Is there a West team that you like more, or do you find the West with a lot of good teams is basically wide open?
I think it's pretty wide open. Again, Colorado scares me, and the idea that they're going to have this insane emotional boost if Landeskog can be around the team or maybe even play some hockey again is an X factor that you can't really account for. Of those injuries, obviously Heiskanen's the biggest one for me. Dallas has been playing really, really well without him in the lineup. But there's a difference between playing really, really well down the stretch of the regular season when you already are sort of locked into a playoff spot, and then trying to win 4 games out of 7 against a Colorado team that is a buzzsaw offensively when they have it cranked up. So that series is fascinating. I think of all the injuries, though, that's the one that has me cringing a little bit. Obviously Connor and Leon, you need them both healthy in order to beat the Kings, but they've shown they can beat the Kings.
Yes.
For me, it's can you get past a team that's probably, outside of the St. Louis streak, played the best hockey in 2025 in the Western Conference in Colorado? Can you get past them without your best defenseman? And if you can, then a lot of us that picked Dallas to win the Cup before the season are going to look pretty smart.
Look, yeah, the Stars are good. Edmonton to me is the biggest wild card because they've actually played pretty decent here without all these guys. No Skinner, no Ekholm, no Draisaitl, no McDavid, no Frederick. Kane obviously hasn't been here all year long. We don't know how much he's going to add when he comes back in, but at least he'll have some tenacity, I would think, at bare minimum. I don't know how much scoring touch he'll have. We'll see. But, as we saw last night, McDavid comes back in, and all the other guys are banged up. The Oilers are only dressed 5 defensemen, and they still beat one of the hottest teams in the league because McDavid plays like McDavid. And you mentioned LA. I look at it, and I look at LA, and I see basically the same team. Yeah, okay, they got Darcy Kemper, so that's an upgrade in goal. But the rest of the team's the same. And that's the same team that's lost 3 years in a row. And they really haven't changed their system that drastically. They have a little bit different of a neutral zone forecheck, but they're still defense first. And I just don't think they can. Edmonton has shown the last 3 years, if you want to boring it up for a while, they'll play boring hockey for 2 periods. And then McDavid or Draisaitl will have one shift and score a goal, and they win.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've got the difference makers where if you're going to rope-a-dope it against them, it won't matter ultimately because either Connor or Leon will make a play. I think the hesitation about Edmonton for a lot of people is the inconsistency in defense throughout the year, and then not believing that they're going to be able to get 2 months of quality goaltending like they did last season. And I think both of those fears are legit and probably the reason why they're not going to play for the Cup again. but I certainly think they're going to play in the second round. If I'm being honest, like I'm with you on LA. I mean, LA has been super scary at home. I think there's the perception of how difficult it is to beat a team in the playoffs for that many consecutive seasons as Edmonton will have if they get past LA. But if Connor's healthy and he's back and playing, and Leon's healthy, and obviously the hope is that he will be, they still have the two biggest difference makers in that series, and two guys that have shown in the past that they're all you need to get past the LA Kings in the first round.
Greg Wyshynski joins us. Greg, obviously the Rangers are a major disappointment, but fun fact, did you know this is 3 years in a row that 3 100-point teams from the previous season missed the playoffs? That's happened a lot. It was actually 4 teams in 2023 that had 100 points in 22 and then missed it. So, right, like when I'm making my predictions next year, I'm going to be like, okay, which one of these 100-point teams aren't making it? Because clearly that's a trend now in the NHL. So, you got the Rangers, they were the President's Trophy winner. You had the Boston Bruins, they went from 109 all the way to 73. You had the Vancouver Canucks flame out in the West. Is it still the Rangers that are the most disappointing, or where do you put Boston and Vancouver in that conversation of those three?
Yeah, I mean, Boston is disappointing in a really special way, in the sense that they were so disappointing that they've decided to tank, I guess. I mean, I guess that's not the word for it, because, Pasternak is doing everything he can to make sure that they're not in the basement. But, the amount of talent that was shipped out of that team, along with the season being a disappointment in the standings, is still kind of staggering to think about. The Rangers are a weird one because, it's clear. It was clear once they started to try to make the Trouba trade last summer that they believed that there was something functionally wrong about the core of the team. And so when things didn't go well, and once again at 5-on-5, they continue to play, a quality of hockey that wasn't befitting of a cup contender, then it became obvious that there were some systemic problems with the lineup that needed to be addressed. And, then you start to hear about the Brady Tkachuk soft tampering and things like that. It becomes clear they want to change the attitude in that locker room, change the complexion of the core. So, once you started to kind of understand how they saw themselves, at least from a management and ownership perspective, it kind of made more sense that the season had gone the way it did. But then once the focus became, well, they're going to break up the team, well, then I think then the snowball really started rolling down the hill. I mean, when you put Chris Kreider's name in a memo to 31 other teams to say he's available, I mean, that's basically saying you might as well pack up the tents, because they're going to make fundamental changes to this lineup in the next calendar year.
Yeah, well, you got to think. So is Laviolette out? Is that too Captain Obvious?
He's got to be.
Yeah.
There's no way you can bring him back. I mean, the collapse of this team year over year, and his lack of any sort of salient answer as to why it's happening or how to change it, I think tells you everything you need to know. The real question then becomes, how do they view the next phase of this franchise? I mean, is this the manifest destiny of bringing in Joel Quenneville to be your coach because the hiring of Stan Bowman made it okay to do that with these ex-Blackhawks guys? I don't know. I mean, he was the name that was most prominently mentioned before they hired Laviolette, and that was obviously a different time. But the big intrigue for me is who's going to coach the team. The big intrigue for me is what other moves in the same vein of the JT Miller acquisition do they make in the offseason to reshape the roster and create a core that they think is going to be as ferocious from a competitive standpoint as JT Miller is?
Well, that's totally fair, right? And I still look at Vancouver and I'm like, you know what, man, that trade was not good for them. I don't care what anybody says. They didn't they didn't win that trade. Not a chance. Not a chance. But what about the Islanders? What about Lou? What about the Detroit Red Wings, Steve Yzerman? What do you make of those decisions in those organizations?
Your guess is as good as mine as far as the Islanders go, because they have the utmost faith in Lou from an ownership perspective, from everything I've heard around that team. They serve at the pleasure of Lou. Lou is not serving at the pleasure of the Islanders. And so it's contingent on him at some point moving on. Because, the current construction of the roster, it's his team, it's his baby. He's doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on the same group over and over again. And it's a group that has diminishing returns. And at this point, it's not a playoff team. So I'm not quite sure what happens there because they've got so much age on the roster. But clearly something does. And then Detroit's a tough one because they should be Montreal. They should be Ottawa. This should have been the year in which the Yzer plan came into sharp focus, and then they ascend in the standings and become a playoff contender. But again, it didn't happen. There are some good things that have happened around the team this year, and obviously a couple of bright spots for the future. But the biggest flaw in the Yzer plan was never being bad enough to get your true franchise offensive player in the lineup. And so without that, I mean, God, look at Tampa. Like when he was there, it's easy for a plan to come together when the pillars of your franchise are Steven Stamkos, Victor Hedman, and Nikita Kucherov. They don't have any of that, I don't think, in Detroit. Yeah. And Vasilevsky, exactly. They don't have any of that in Detroit. So I don't know what the dynamic is insofar as what ownership expects and how much faith they have in Yzerman to build this team. But they're clearly behind schedule in Detroit vis-a-vis the other teams they were competing with in the Atlantic.
And Greg, quickly, the Buffalo Sabres. Their owner has been involved in some decisions that kind of make you scratch your head a little bit here. Do you think that that's going to continue? Does he make a management change there? Does he look and say, yeah, but look how well we're playing down the stretch, guys. Let's just run it back again.
I mean, it's an annual tradition to find silver linings in a disastrous season in Buffalo. It happens every year. Right now, it's, I guess, consecutive wins for James Reimer is like what we're hanging our hat on. I don't know, man. I've said for months that I think that whether it's Kevin Adams or someone else, the Sabres have reached the point with this group of young players where they have to start packaging guys together to get guys that are already proven commodities in their mid-20s if they're going to start trying to become a contender in this league. And, we can sneer at Elias Pettersson and say that he's washed or he's cooked or whatever, but that's the kind of player Buffalo should probably go for if they have the opportunity to, is someone that's sort of in their mid-20s and has a little bit of proof of concept, because it's clear that this collection of young players doesn't have the maturation curve right now to make Buffalo a contender, and they're going to have to be maybe a little bit more aggressive than they've been.
Greg, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the final week and then get set for the playoffs. Can't wait.
You got it.
It's Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. It is Thursday, and we had a lot of tech. Greg, did you say 3 teams missed the playoffs? Yeah. So the Rangers had 114 points last year. Vancouver and Boston had 109. They both missed the playoffs this year. In 2023, the Devils 112, Minnesota 103, and Seattle 100. They made the playoffs and they missed it last year. And then, of course, in 2022, Calgary 111, St. Louis 109, Pittsburgh 103, Washington 100, and then they all missed the playoffs in 2023. So think about that when you make your prognostications next year. Look it up, and there's 3 of these 100-point teams, and based on the last few years, some of them are going to miss the playoffs. Now, I don't know if it's going to be 3, because if you look at it, prior to that, it had happened in 2018 when the Oilers were one of them. Remember, they made the playoffs in 2017, then they missed it the next year. You had back-to-back 2018, 17, 15, 13. So really, since 2013, it's happened 7 times. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4. So that's basically over half the time. You have at least 3 teams who had 100 points missing the playoffs the next year. Interesting. Quick break. We'll return Thirsty Thursday next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Legends, your partner in power, just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. Don't miss the Champions Luncheon on Friday, April 25th at the Edmonton Convention Center. Tables are on sale now. This year's event is hosted by accomplished sports journalist and author Scott Morrison and features the legendary locker room tales of Mike Keenan. Iron Mike grew from a highly respected NHL player to one of the most passionate coaches in hockey history. For more information or to purchase your Champions Luncheon table, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
Hey, it's Andrew Walker, host of the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show, which you can check out before all the games this season. A big thank you to Cross Mitsubishi for their support. We are Sports 1440, Edmonton Sports Leader.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
New Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
If you or someone you care for are injured in a motor vehicle accident, please listen up. I'm Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and let me proudly say that we won't be the place your insurer tells you to go. We won't be the place because we don't sign agreements with the insurance company. We don't work for them, we work for you. We do want to be the place that your friends, family, and other medically trained professionals send you. So if your insurance company says that you have to see their therapist, you should know that's not true. You have the right to choose where you go, and we hope you choose us. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
What were your thoughts on the game tonight, Coach? The game was terrible. We played like and the refs were so brutal. No more questions.
Somebody needs a filter.
Good filtration makes a difference. Napa Auto Parts' annual spring filter event sale is on April 7th to 13th. Come get your cabin, air, oil filters, and all other automotive needs for your vehicle. Visit your participating Napa stores in Edmonton, St. Albert, Camrose, Leduc, Spruce Grove, Fort Saskatchewan, and Sherwood. That's Napa know-how.
The Tim's Donut and Coffee is the original collab. And now, any classic donut is $1 when you buy any size original or dark roast coffee. Get a deal on the iconic duo with a Tim's dollar donut, plus tax at participating restaurants for limited time. Terms apply. See app for details.
Time for Tim's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Get your power play amped up with EWEL, supplying the city of champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Wow. This is all for Declan Kruger, con man. Oh, it's reliving his teenage youth years.
13-year-old Declan.
Oh, I love
Big
hysteria. Wow. Big fan. 13. Jeez, there you go. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And it's time for Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Of course, 2 locations, the original on St. Albert Trail and 118th Ave, and then on the south side on 50th Street and 92nd Avenue. Whether you like cocktails, wine, beers, or now huge selection of non-alcoholic beverages, you can get it at Sherbrooke Liquor. As we welcome back in from Sherbrooke, Stephen Bizan joins us. Steve, welcome back, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back. Very
So today, now I know this 4-pack is available if anybody wants to stop in at Sherbrooke at either location. Just ask for the Sports 1440 4-pack, and you've got this special now. Because basically, you're going to try to convince me that I should drink more lagers.
That's right. Yeah, I heard on air a few times you mentioned that you really like ales. You prefer them over lagers. So I kind of wanted to hopefully change your perception a little bit, maybe change your opinion on lagers and find something you like.
Okay, so let's go. What do we got here?
Okay, so beer number 1. So we're kind of starting light. We're starting easy. This is a local Edmonton brewery called Bent Stick. Amazing people.
There used to be a golf course called Bed Stick right by New Sarepta.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I wonder if it's the same guy.
We should do like a throwback beer with
well, it's closed now.
Okay, yeah.
The New Sarepta golf course didn't really last very long, but Bed Stick's a classic.
Yeah, these guys are awesome. So this is the Haymaker Wheated Pilsner. And this won the best Pilsner in Alberta at the Alberta Beer Awards, the 3rd best beer in the province. And it's I think what most
that's pretty smooth, man. I'm not gonna lie. Holy cow.
I picked this one. I think this is what most people think of when they think of lagers, something in this sort of style. So it's clear, it's pale, sort of yellow, just nice and crisp, easy drinking.
Because that's what when I vision a lager, I think light, kind of yellowish beer. Right? That's kind of a traditional lager.
And that's I think most people think that, and it's for good reason. It is the most popular style of lager, but with lagers you could have there's so many different sub styles of lagers. So you go from really light. And as you see, as we go along here, you get to really dark, rich, robust lagers. So yeah, lots of variety out here, but this one's really nice. It's, so they add a little bit of wheat to it. Typically a Pilsner or pale lager is just made with barley. Or maybe they add some corn or rice to it to lighten the body, but they add a little bit of wheat to this one. They add a lot of hops late in the brewing process. So it's really aromatic. It's a little snappy. Like you might get a little bitterness on the finish, which is pretty common for a traditional Pilsner style. And I think they did an amazing job. So this is kind of a good way to ease into the rest of the flight here.
Okay. Well, I will say it's very tasty, very smooth. I find some lagers, they don't have a lot of taste for me, right? They're fine. Like they're good. You can no problem. But as I've gotten older, I like a little bit more flavor.
Yeah. And most, I think when people think of lagers, they think of the big brand name stuff, your Molson's and Labatt's and Budweiser's, that sort of thing. And that's just one little style of lager. And they are really they're just meant to be crushable, super easy drinking and light. And there's nothing wrong with those. They have their place. But what a lot of people don't know is that lagers could be very complex and very rich and dark.
All right. So now we're getting to like now this next one is more looking like an amber. An amber lager.
Yeah, you got it.
Not sure I've ever had one.
Yeah, it is an amber lager. It's from Lupolo Brewing out of Vancouver. It's the Rubiconda lager, and it's a Czech style amber lager. So the Czech style, they do a whole range of different lager styles. I think most people are familiar with Pilsner Urquell.
Yes, I was just going to say. Yeah.
So Pilsner Urquell, that's essentially the original pale lager beer. In 1842 in the town of Pilsen in Bohemia, which is now the Czech Republic. Just the locals there were tired of the murky, spoiled ales that they would get at the time, and they wanted to seek out a new, different style. And they brought in some people from Germany with lots of brewing experience, and they developed this clean, clear, crisp Pilsner Urquell lager. And so that's where it set the stage for the pale stuff. But for Czech style, they have a whole range. So there's the really pale Pilsners and then ambers, and then it goes up to really dark ones. So this one, you'll get a little bit more sort of caramel malt on it.
Yes.
It's a little fruitier, a little more body to it.
Yeah. Almost tastes like a light ale.
Yeah, definitely. Because it has that sort of fruity touch to it.
Yeah.
So the main,
it doesn't taste very fruity to me. Just,
okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So like, a little toasty, a little bit roasty, that nice malty backbone to it.
And what's it called?
It's called Rubiconda Lager is the name of it. And it's from Lupolo Brewing out of Vancouver.
Okay. Well, we always put the post out. It'll be up on our socials if for those who listen along. Just remember though, if you like any of these beers, you're intrigued, you want to try a 4-pack of lagers from light to dark, you can get the Sports 1440 4-pack at Sherbrooke right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, so beer number 3.
Okay, beer number 3.
Right, to move along. So it's 4 Winds Europa Dark Lager. So this one, 4 Winds, they're out of Delta, BC, so just outside of Vancouver. But this one they make in a traditional Schwartz beer style. which essentially translates to black beer in German.
I'm doing my open mouth.
Oh,
nose breathing.
David.
Yes,
David's
we
strict there with
learned
the
this
open
last
mouth.
time. It actually does make a difference. You can
It
kind of
does.
taste
Yeah. You get so many more aromas.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, like I said, a Schwartz beer. Some people call it a black Pilsner. You'll notice on the nose with this one, it's way more roasty than the previous two.
Like I'm somewhat confused here because normally when I see a dark beer, I'm expecting to get a little bit thicker and heavier and more flavorful. But it's a really light dark beer.
Exactly. Yeah. And this one,
Pretty
I
good.
find the Schwartz beer style, so the black lager, it often changes people's perceptions of what dark beer could be, because a lot of people have had Guinness or some of the richer stouts. But so this is dark, like it's a little bit lighter than a Guinness, but still quite like it's a deep brown color. But it's got that light body to it, and it's nice and crisp and refreshing. But you still get all those roasty coffee, dark chocolate notes to it. But still easy drinking.
Yeah, and luckily for me, because I loathe coffee, I don't taste any coffee in this one. So
okay, yeah.
The smell was there when I go to this, but then when I taste it, I don't notice as much. So
okay, nice.
That's good.
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. It's got a nice like dry finish. It's refreshing.
And in coffee beer, I probably have like a bias, right? I'm like Wyszynski to Canadian teams when it comes to coffee and beer. It's just kind of how it
I
goes.
hear you. I hear you. Okay, should we go on? To
What's the last one here?
The last one. This is my personal favorite. I know last week you tried a Rauch beer with David, that really smoky beer that tasted like bacon. Like that's probably my favorite style. This is probably my second favorite style. So this is a Doppelbock. The beer is called Doppelganger. And it's called
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger.
Ooh, all right,
yeah.
I like that. Everybody out there knows that's an easy one to remember.
Yeah, Doppelganger. So a Doppelbock is a really interesting style. So it was developed in the 17th century by German monks. And they made this style of beer because they would always partake in Lent, where they would fast from solid foods. So they wanted to brew a beer that was really hefty.
Whoa. So the monks would fast from solid food, but they would just have beer.
Yeah, well, they would have like
sounds like a lot of our university days.
Exactly. Yeah, they get all the nourishment and barley, everything they need. That's what they kind of call the style liquid bread sometimes.
Yeah. Buddy, that beer is I'm not gonna Doppelganger.
So from slow.
That is easily these four without question.
It's
the Doppelganger. It's good.
Unreal. So it's from a brewery, Slow Hand Brewing, who are known for their lager production out of Vancouver, and it's a collab with Temporal Ales, who are known for their barrel aging. So they Slow Hand brewed this beer, and then Temporal aged it in some oak barrels, and kind of evened it out. So you get this is probably the most malt forward style, one of the most malt forward beers you would have.
I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the best beers I've ever had. Easily, I don't want to downplay the other ones, but the Doppelganger,
this one's fantastic. I would definitely agree with
first one I've drank the whole glass. Jeez, not small glasses. Anybody who's just listening to radio, it's like a little taster glass. Okay, not sitting there crushing a
little
pint.
sampler, and this one's 7.7%.
What?
Yeah, so a little heftier. Some of the
Okay.
Doppelbocks can get up to 10+%. So it's kind of lighter for this style.
So Doppelbock, that's your favorite. No, so do you have like, if you go to Sherbrooke, do you have like a category for anybody? Because we have a lot of people who text and they're like, because I know if you're me, I like to try different beers. Like it's kind of like pizza. It's rare for me to find a really terrible beer.
Yeah.
Right. But there are some you like more than others. So that's why it's great. You can try. But so you could buy the Doppelbock. Can you get like a few different ones?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. So that's one of the beautiful things about Sherbrooke is we have most of the beer organized by style rather than by brand. So you start off, and we kind of arrange things from lightest to darkest. So if you like your pale lagers, the Pilsner style, if you like sort of the bent stick style, there you would start there, and then as you go, we have a whole dark lager shelf. So it would have the Doppelbocks, those crazy Rauch beer, smoked beers that you tried last week, the amber lagers. So different brands in the styles that hopefully people discover that they like, and they could just go from there.
Well, I highly recommend. Well, they're all good, but the Doppelganger, that's top of my list. Save the best for last, as they say.
Absolutely.
So, see, I'm not gonna lie, buddy. You've convinced me that there are some dark lagers that are worth my time to try now.
Yeah,
so
success.
That's that Doppelganger. I'm gonna have to stop in there and get a few of those.
Yeah, do it up.
I like it because my wife never really drank beer, and like she doesn't drink a lot, but she likes to have one like every Friday or something. And so usually I'll try to bring different tasters in, and she's kind of likes lagers, whereas I like the darker ales.
Right.
But now I'm gonna get burned with these and say, oh, just without telling her what it is, because she'll be like, I don't like dark beer. I'm like, oh, I think you're gonna try.
Yeah,
this
totally.
one.
It will change her perceptions.
Right.
And check us out. Go through the dark lager shelf. There's like close to 100 different styles.
Really?
Or the different brands
Ooh.
in the different styles. So yeah, there'll be something that you love for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's great stuff, man. I highly recommend. Try it out. You want to go get the try the doppelganger, you get the 4-pack of the Sports 1440 lager. Steven made it special. So you just go in there. Don't worry. They'll have them. If you want to try something this weekend, a little bit different, you can get the 4-pack of the Sports 1440 lagers, which is quite good.
Yeah, dude up. Yeah,
I like it, man. That was good. Awesome, Steve.
Great.
Thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, glad you liked it.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
It was awesome. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Mix it up with Booster Juice and 2 new of their Booster Mixer flavors, the Zesty Berry Booster Mixer and the Bango Mango Booster Mixer. Download the Boosters Reward app. Order one today only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night on the ice in the NHL. Getting going at 5 o'clock. You got the Bruins and the Blackhawks. Red Wings in Florida. Jackets take on the Sabres. Hurricanes up against the Caps. Battle of New York. Stars host the Jets. Canucks in Colorado. Utah host the Preds. Kraken take on the Golden Knights. And the Kings hosting the Anaheim Ducks. In the WHL Eastern Conference semifinal starts tonight. Hurricanes in Calgary taking on the Hitmen. That gets going at 7. In the association tonight, Knicks travel to Detroit. You got the Pacers and Cavs. Hawks visit Brooklyn. Bucks host the Pelicans, and the Timberwolves taking on the Grizz. Major League Baseball, Jays in action right now. Top of the 4th, scoreless between them and the Boston Red Sox. You also got the Rockies beating the Brewers 2-1 heading into the 8th. Later tonight, Atlanta hosting Philadelphia. Earlier today, the Angels knocked off the Rays 11-1. Guardians over the White Sox 6-1, and the Twins fall to the Royals 3-2. Day 1 of the Masters right now. Justin Rose through 16 atop the leaderboard at 8 under par. Canadian Corey Connors and Scotty Scheffler tied for second at 4 under. Other Canadians in the field. Nick Taylor 2 over par. Mike Weir +3, and Taylor Pendrith 5 over par. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, of course, we'll be joined by Colin Livingston and the Cam Torg Racing Report, and we'll talk some Florida Panthers with George Richards. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
At Fountain Tire, our focus is taking care of your vehicle. Your focus? Saving up to 25% off select tires. Plus, getting up to a $120 mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select tires until April 26th. So we both win. Fountain Tire, we're on this road together.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
To the next hockey game, you can have your say with the Sports 1440 postgame show. This is your host, Andrew Walker. Join us and give your takes on the game, good or bad. It's all brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery in St. Albert. The postgame show on Sports 1440.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference.
Yes.
FittedGolf.ca.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service.
You're listening.
VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
It's another big goal from number one, Titan Supply. They're dominating this series. Looks like a clean sweep.
Spring cleanup is an easy win with Titan Supply. Not only can you trust them to lift, dig, and haul, but with their spring special on industrial brooms, cleaning grime, rocks, and dirt from parking lots, streets, and more is a breeze. Their service inspections help ensure you're safe and ready for the upcoming season. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book a free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 3 o'clock. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday. Great day. Tomorrow, Positive Friday. Oh, tomorrow on the show. So why don't you think about this? Positive Friday. We're gonna have an auction tomorrow on the show because hey, look at the weather outside. You can start thinking baseball season. It's for the Riverhawks. It's going to help out the Gregor Foundation, and you'll get some of the huge Riverhawk beers. You're gonna be in the Delta Valley patio for the game. So think about if you want to go, you get 16 tickets. So you can take your sporting team. Maybe you go, you know, if you're at work, you want to take your staff. Maybe you just got a group of buddies. You have a super good time. So we'll do that tomorrow on the show. And whatever we raise, they're donating that. But then they're also going to match whatever the bid is and double it. So the donation for the Gregor Foundation, which is unreal because we've always got more kids than we planned for, which is, I guess, a good problem, a bad problem, depending on which way you look at it. And so we'll try to help out, get a few more kids in a suit before graduation this year. Now, coming up later on this hour, we are there's lots to discuss on the show. The Oilers, of course, day off today. They are relaxing, and we'll see if Leon Draisaitl is going to play tomorrow or not. He is going to take the morning skate, and then he will address the media afterwards about his status. So we'll find out.
Not sure you saw, Gregor. Olivier Rodrigue returned to Bakersfield, Cam Denis, and recalled.
Yeah, so that's Stuart Skinner's healthy. It basically means that Jake Wallman probably not ready, or they're just going to be safe, right? He could skate tomorrow, but Cam Denis comes up, and Stuart Skinner will be activated and ready to go tomorrow. So there you go. And honestly, that's good for Bakersfield because they get Rodrigue back because they're in a dogfight. They had a big win last night against Henderson, but they got to win both games this weekend if they want to get to the playoffs. So you get your starting goaltender back for them, and that will help them, no question about it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We do want to report this. Sports 1440, many of you kind of run into each other, and there's lots of different guys and gals out there that listen to the show for a long time. Darren sent us a text Darren's a longtime listener of our station, and then obviously the previous ones that we were on, as was his brother Daryl. Daryl was killed this past Sunday in a senseless shooting. 52 years of age, big-time hockey fan, Oiler fan. We'll tweet out if anybody has any information. They are looking for a 2016 blue Honda Pilot. So there you go. If anybody was around the area on Sunday night, 23rd Ave, 66th Street. It's pretty major intersection. Anybody who's familiar with that, right around the old what is that, Millwoods Town Center? Basically, it's right there. So our condolences to your family and lost one of our listeners. So it's very unfortunate. Hey, guys, with the Oilers, does it matter where they finish in the playoffs? Do you think home ice advantage matters that much, Steve? I think it could matter for Game 7. Yes. And while the Kings do have the best home record in the NHL right now, they also have the worst road record of any playoff team. So if you're Oilers and you get a split, like, I don't know if it, like the Kings are, yeah, they're good at home, but they're bad on the road. So, they have 2 more points than the Edmonton Oilers. And the Oilers, like, I looked at LA's record. LA has the best record in the NHL since the trade deadline. And guess what? They've had all their top 9 forwards play every game. They've had 3 defensemen miss 1 game. Drew Doughty missed 1 game. Joel Emberson missed 1 game. Spence missed 1 game. They've been very healthy, which is good. That helps. Make no mistake. But if you compare that to the Oilers, and they've had McDavid out for 8 games, Draisaitl out for 7 games, Skinner out for 7 games, Ekholm out for 12 games, Frederick out for 15 games, Wallman, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman have missed time. Like, that's a significant difference, right? So LA, yes, they are very good at home. There's no question in my mind. They've been a good home team. But you get to the playoffs, and now everything changes. I look at on paper, I don't believe the Kings have the horses offensively to run with the Oilers. They haven't for 3 years. Like, is Warren Fogle suddenly going to give him that much of a boost offensively? Now, hey, maybe Quentin Byfield gets hot. Okay, maybe. Darcy Kemper's good in goal. I would argue that he's better than what they've had. Valid. But Edmonton's shown you they can, if the games get 5-4, they win. And then they can also win the 2-0 and 2-1 games. So I don't think LA is a tough matchup for the Oilers. I could be totally wrong. I just don't see LA, of all the teams that the Edmonton faces in the West, LA is not the one I'm overly concerned about at all. So, hey, boys, Oilers fans should be happy half the team's missing and we're in the playoffs. From Christian. Hey, guys, did Amir Knobloch make a nice subtle change by putting the McDavid line against Thomas line in the third period since Henrique line was getting crushed? Well, didn't the Thomas line score in the third? I thought the Thomas line, they had a breakaway, remember? They had a huge 2 breakaway saves by Pickard in the third period. And I even tweeted about the one. I said, guys, remember that save. That Thomas line, they did very well against the Oilers. I think they gave them all fits a little bit. McDavid's line was a little bit better, sure. But even them in the third period, they were still on for goals against. So, that Thomas line had a – it's not like Edmonton had their full roster. Right? I don't think when the playoffs begin, McDavid's line is going to be McDavid, Brown, and Skinner. I'll be pretty stunned if that's who McDavid's wingers are when the playoffs begin. I'm really kind of interested now. So we know the Oilers are in. I think we've all known that for a while. There's some – negative Nancy's who thought, they could miss the playoffs. Okay, sure. But realistically, we knew the Oilers were making the playoffs. And for a while now, it's kind of being that they're going to play LA. But the one thing that I don't think anybody has a real good feel on, myself included, what are the line combinations going to be? Maybe it matters. Maybe it doesn't. I think chemistry can matter. But is McDavid, is it automatically Hyman? I would assume it's Hyman. But who's the left winger? Is it going to be Jeff Skinner? I think it might be Jeff Skinner. To start anyway. Then Leon Draisaitl. Is Draisaitl, are they just going to go with Draisaitl, Arvidsson, and Podkolzin? They might, because that's who they've played the most with this year, and obviously Draisaitl's had an unreal season. And Arvidsson's now, Arvidsson's got 6 goals in the last 12 games. Played pretty well. So now that he's kind of found his game, do they keep him together? Or do they put Nugent Hopkins there? And maybe Corey Perry's playing with Draisaitl. Maybe Trent Frederick. Maybe Evander Kane. I'm kind of curious on what the line combinations will be. I think there's lots of options. I just don't know what they're going to be. To me, that's it. I think the defense pairs, it's going to be Bouchard and Ekholm. I think it's going to be Nurse and Wallman. And I think it's going to be Kulak. I think it's going to be Kulak and Stetcher. Right now, to me, I was watching very closely last night, Emberson and Stetcher, because that's the battle for the defense pair. And Stetcher just moves the puck quicker. When you consider how many minutes Emberson plays, which is about 13 a game, and he's taken the most hits in the NHL, got to move the puck quicker. And that's why I think, I get people, penalty kill, okay, sure. But they don't take a ton of penalties. And I think it might be Stetcher. Cons, which way are you leaning for that number 6 defense? Assuming the other 5 are healthy. And right now, everything's pointing, Wallman, they say it's short term. They're just going to be cautious with it. Ekholm, they think for sure will be ready. Is it Emberson or Stetcher for you?
I go Stetcher. I just, maybe in a couple of years down the road, we're seeing Ty Emberson take that leap, but I still think there's growing pains in his game, and Troy Stetcher's just been a little bit more reliable. And I didn't really think this would be the case, Craig, or I thought for sure, you'd go out there and address it, and Stetcher would be probably your 7th defenseman going into the playoffs, but I'd be lying if I said he hasn't outperformed what I thought he would be able to do. And, he seems to be in the right spot, and he's a gamer. He does the little things that I think you need to do. And I can't help but think the guys in the room absolutely love him, jumping into things when he has to, even being the smaller guy. So for me, Troy Stetcher would be the 6th defenseman for me going into the playoffs.
Okay. Hey guys, do you know, is it going to be Jack and Louie on the call for the Oilers in the playoffs this year? Well, it's a funny question because I actually asked Jack that last week and told me, and who knows, maybe he knows and doesn't want to say yet. That's fine. But he said he hadn't heard 100%. But I'll say this. I do know that the Oilers organization, because they pay for their rights, they were like, hey, we want our guy on more of our games. And so this is the first, because Jack never used to do Saturday night games. They kind of had this weird, somebody at Sportsnet was like, quote, he's not a national voice, which I kind of find interesting. Because, hey, now here's the thing. Not everybody likes Jason Gregor. Not everybody likes Connor Halley. Not everybody likes Jack Michael. I don't worry about the people who don't like the call. It's if the majority like it, that's what matters. At the end of the day, that's what matters. Some people don't think McDavid's good. Some people didn't like Gretzky. Right? Now, I'm not putting myself or Jack Michaels in that category of broadcaster, but that's my point. It's rare that everybody likes somebody. There are always going to be some people don't like Gene Principe. He's the nicest guy I've ever met. So it happens. But there are some who felt, well, Jack, you know what? He couldn't be a national voice because what? He's exciting. Does Jack get fired up? Yeah, 100% he does. But a lot of fans like it. I think you want to be able to feel the energy, and the broadcaster can make a game feel more exciting. That to me is a sign of a good broadcaster. If the broadcaster's job, whether you're a talk show host, whether you're play-by-play, and I've done both, your job is to evoke emotion from the audience. Positive, frustrating, nervous, they're all different emotions, but that's the job. And the ones who do it best invoke a lot of different emotions. Some days, I might annoy you. Some days I might like you. But if it keeps you listening, that's what matters. If we all agreed all the time, it would be boring. Boring. So the fact that Jack has done this many Saturday games, I would find it rather moronic, to put it politely, if he wasn't calling their games. Now, would he call all 4 rounds? No, because there's a hierarchy, and as you get down to fewer teams, guys with seniority, they do the games. That's just how it is. It's how it is. It's how it's always been, regardless of who it's going to be. So do I think there's a chance that he does the first round this year? Yes. I would actually be quite surprised if he didn't do it. Because to me, it wouldn't make a ton of sense. Because in the past, I said, well, we didn't want the regional guy doing their games. Oh, really? But you did it for Vancouver and did it for Calgary. So what's the difference? So I would think, yes, those games would happen. Now, if you look at matchups, Edmonton and Winnipeg aren't going to play each other. So you're going to need a Canadian crew on the Winnipeg. You're going to need a Canadian crew on the Edmonton games. 100%. Then you've got 3 teams from Canada out east. One of them, Ottawa or Montreal, is going to play Toronto. So you're going to need 4 crews because they like the Canadian ones to be done. Now, sometimes they'll pick up a feed for the American ones, right? That's fine. I get it. But you'll need 4 crews. I don't think they have 4 crews that they use more. So I would expect that Jack would be calling some games in the first round. So there you go. Hey, guys, I love Gene, but somebody's got to get him a fresh cut from JP. Well, he is getting a haircut, JP. Don't worry. He'll have a fresh cut for the playoffs. Well, everybody grows their beard. Gene is cutting his hair off for the playoffs. He's the anti-beard. Now, maybe he'll start a beard. I don't know. But he is going to cut his hair before the playoffs begin, just so you know. But I at this point, I'll tell you right now, I'd be stunned if you don't have Jack Michaels calling. I can't say it's 100%, but I'm pretty certain he'll be calling around for the Oilers. When we return, George Richards will join us. The Panthers and the Oilers both made it to the Stanley Cup final last year. Both currently sitting in third place in their respective divisions. The Panthers have 94 points. The Oilers have 95 points. Oiler fans, fairly confident in your team. A little bit banged up, as are the Panthers. Could the Panthers go back-to-back? Can they go to their 3rd consecutive Stanley Cup final? What has to happen? We'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter hits the link.
So I tell the guy, it's leaking because you have a hole-in-one.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you have a better chance of hitting the green with a crescent wrench, you bum.
Oh, boy. It's my rival, Mr. Plunger.
You swing a club like you plumb. Lousy.
Lousy, eh? Hey, Mr. Plunger, there's a clog down there that even you could fix.
For a plumber you can trust, call Mr. Rooter.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Day or night, tasting just right. You can order noodle at noodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order noodle at noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order noodle.ca.
There's one. And another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck, and see the savings at wolfgmcbuick.com.
For the next hockey game, you can have your say with the Sports 1440 Postgame Show. This is your host, Andrew Walker. Join us and give your takes on the game, good or bad. It's all brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery in St. Albert. The Postgame Show on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2 fours for May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.327. Welcome back, Gregor, Halley, Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you are having an awesome day. And speaking of an awesome day, Justin Rose, he is killing it right now. He's up to 8 under through 17 at the Masters. Now, obviously, he started a little bit later. Corey Connors, Scotty Scheffler, 4 under. Rory McIlroy also at 4 under, and he's through 13 holes. And then Tyrrell Hatton's the other guy. So those are the only 5 players so far at 3 under or better. But Justin Rose giving himself a nice, healthy lead on day 1 of the Masters. So, hey, Gregor, I just stopped by Sherbrooke Liquor. Amazing staff, unbelievable service. Happy Thirsty Thursdays are back. Well done from Martin. Well, Martin, thanks for joining in, man. Hey, what'd you get? I want to know. Did you try the 4-pack? We'll see. It's nice. I will say, try just for fun, boys and girls. Get a Guinness and then get the non-alcoholic Guinness. Your mind's going to be blown on how and do a blind taste test to your buddies. I can't tell the difference. I could not believe they have a non-alcoholic Guinness that tastes that good. Stunned, I tell you. Let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. You can take action on your savings, and more importantly, how about saving yourself $15,000? Yeah, that's right, because starting next week, Here Comes the Sun is back. Every day we will qualify somebody, and they could win, or you could not. So here's how it works. You can win, or you can nominate somebody you know who really needs the solar system for their home. So it's an unbelievable package, courtesy of Action Electrical, and that starts on Monday. So be sure to tune in. Hey, Gregor, it's a bad coaching move when McDavid's on the ice in the last second of his first game. I get he's healthy in the playoffs, but not needed last night from Bad Niv. Are you serious right now? So you're telling me the guy can play the whole game. He can set up the winning goal with 20 seconds left, but then he can't be on the ice for the remaining 20 seconds? Listen to yourself. Make it make sense. So he can be on the ice for the last 30 seconds, but not the last 20. Like, get real. Like, come on. Hey, guys, assuming everyone's healthy, isn't it a hard decision on who's going to be the 12th forward? Yeah, it is. Because if we assume that Kane and Frederick and McDavid and Draisaitl, and then you got Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, I think you got Arvidsson, you got Podkolzin, Henrique, Brown. So who's that leave? You got one of Skinner, Perry, or Janmark? Yeah. Well, two of them, I should say. I'd be surprised. Just look at how the Oilers run their penalty kill. Now, Nugent Hopkins and Henrique come out for the faceoff. But if you actually look at time on ice, Brown and Janmark are on more. Neither one's a faceoff guy. So you have Henrique and Nugent Hopkins out for the faceoff. The minute if they ice it, even if it's 5 seconds, they go off. And then it's Brown and Janmark. So I'd be surprised if it's Janmark in the first game. But remember, last year, Connor Brown didn't play a game in the opening series. And then came in against Vancouver in game 2. And then obviously played really well after. So I'm not going to lose too much sleep over who's in game 1 or who's not. But it will be, I think they got depth, and they're going to have some guys who's going to be healthy competition. No question about it. As do the Florida Panthers. Now, the Panthers, like the Oilers, they got some injury issues. How many of their guys are going to be healthy? Let's go out to Florida. Could we see a rematch of the Stanley Cup final? George Richards from Florida Hockey Now joins us again. And so, George, I know Tkachuk is skating. Are they expecting him to be ready for game 1 of the playoffs?
Well, because he's on LTIR, nobody's really saying anything. But, yeah, I think that is the plan. Paul Maurice has said it depends on when, what date the NHL gives them. So I've got to say, Matthew Tkachuk will be there for game 1.
Okay. Now, Ekblad, we know, is eligible to come back for game 3. They got some other guys banged up. Give us a health status, Sam Bennett. Let's start there.
Yeah, Sam Bennett out of nowhere. They gave him Sunday off in Detroit. They gave Sam Reinhart and Gus Forsling the night off in Detroit as well. And then when the Panthers came back, Paul Maurice said, Sam Bennett, they're going to sit him for the rest of the regular season. So we really don't know what's there, but we asked, hey, what's his availability? Do you feel like he will miss a playoff game? No, not at all. No, he's going to be ready. I think it's just one of those deals where the Panthers feel that the rest is going to be good for Sam Bennett. He took the morning skate on Tuesday. He practiced yesterday. But, the Panthers are just going to lean on the side of caution and not bring Sam Bennett in for any more games this year.
So they expect him back. Anybody else that they expect back for the playoffs?
Yeah, Dmitry Kulikov, their third pairing defenseman, is supposed to play before the regular season ends. So we might see him Saturday.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, everybody's got some bumps and bruises, but nothing serious. Matthew Tkachuk is still the most serious one. We had not seen him in a practice. We've only seen him in morning skates and skating on his own. So you would think that the Florida Panthers are going to ramp up, what he does before the playoffs start.
George, the Panthers right now, they'd have to finish really strong. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. Now some would say, hey, it doesn't matter how you finish because once the playoffs start, it starts all over. Yeah. But it's looking with every passing day that it's going to be the Panthers and the Lightning in round 1, and the Lightning are most likely going to have home ice advantage. How do you feel about this matchup when you look at this Tampa Bay team that's pretty healthy? Obviously, these are the two teams that have represented the East in the last 5 Stanley Cups. Funny enough, they're going to face each other in the final regular season game on the 15th for the Panthers. Do you think there'll be some message sending? Because these are two teams that got a lot of guys who know how to win, and I think they understand, the mental warfare aspect at times.
Well, we're going to find out because the Panthers right now are 3 points back of the Lightning. I believe Tampa Bay has all the tiebreakers, so Florida's really 4 points if they want to get home ice for that first round game. So Tampa Bay, they're playing the same schedule Florida is, same teams, because teams are coming here and then going to Tampa or vice versa. Listen, I think Florida just wants to know, when the game starts. Just let's get going. Florida's probably not going to catch Tampa, so game 1 will be at Amalie Arena. And as far as Tuesday night regular season finale for Florida anyway, and they mean something for Tampa because they're still chasing Toronto. I would think Florida might just ice an AHL team that Tuesday night if they know they're coming back to Tampa because that's their last regular season game It's the second game of a back-to-back. Tampa still has one more game left after Tuesday night. They play Thursday. So, we'll see if there's going to be any message sending. There was before. The first time Florida and Tampa Bay played was during the COVID year. And Florida played 2 games before the playoffs started, and they, racked up like 250 penalty minutes in those games. But lately there hasn't really been any of that. So we'll see.
How was the Ekblad situation received in Florida?
I think they miss him, and I think it's probably helped Aaron Ekblad's case as far as the Panthers go. He's a free agent after this season. It's just gone to his absence, even before earlier in the season when he was hurt. He had a wrist injury, a hand injury, whatever it was, how much he was missed. And I think we've seen that now since Aaron Ekblad's been suspended. Florida's defense has not been as good as it is when he has been there. And I think maybe that people take Aaron Ekblad and what he brings to the Panthers back end for granted. He and Gus Forsling are a terrific pair. And the silver lining of that is now you're getting to see Seth Jones with Gus Forsling and now Nico McCullough. So you're trying to find out, how everybody works together without Ekblad being there. So Florida's liked some of the results. Their game has been good. They just haven't been scoring the goals, but they've been limiting the opposition. For the last 5 or 6 games, they've been playing terrific defensive hockey, and that's exactly the way Paul Maurice wants them to play heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, the Ekblad, when he's back, where do you see him? Who's he paired with?
Oh, he's going back with Forsling. I mean, they've already got right now, they've already moved Seth Jones back with Nico McCullough because that's where they're going to start during the playoffs. So they're trying to find a partner for Seth Jones, a partner for Gus Forsling for the first 2 playoff games. So they're, it's kind of a tryout thing right now. So they're just seeing what works. Right now it's Schmidt. So we'll see where it goes from there.
How's Seth Jones look since coming over?
He's been good. The Panthers brought him in and they were going to try and give him a soft open here in Florida. He was going to play 17 to 20 minutes. He was going to play second pairing on the second pair. And then Ekblad gets suspended a couple days after the trade deadline. So Seth Jones has been kind of thrown into the fire here in Florida and playing a completely different defensive system than he's used to. And I think he's been terrific. He's taken over top power play duties from Ekblad. So he's been able to get a lot of work with a lot of different people, not only defensively, but on the power play as well, because Florida's, been just mixing and matching their lineup. So Seth Jones has gotten an education here in South Florida in the first month he's been here. And listen, I think he's been really good. He's been pretty good, since the day he got here.
Yeah, look, like obviously he logs a lot of minutes, and you got him and Forsling, and then you throw in Ekblad. And, you look at the Tampa Bay team, George, and obviously they had their 3 years in a row, and I do think eventually maybe you get a little bit of wear and tear on the treads when you go to that many Stanley Cups, and Florida's kind of in that boat themselves right now. But, you look at the matchup, you got Bobrovsky, you got Vasilevsky, you got Hedman, you got Jones, you got Barkov, you got Kucherov. Like, there is lots of really good players, lots of future Hall of Famers on both teams. What do you see as the difference between either team into why somebody's going to win that series?
I think it's going to be the defensive style. Is Tampa going to be able to play, in a 7-game series, the kind of defensive hockey that it's going to take to beat the Panthers? Florida, no doubt, Florida's going to be able to play that game. We saw it last year. Florida took care of business, but they had home ice. They were able to take 2 games here in Sunrise before going to Tampa. They end up winning that series in 5. This will be a different deal. You got to start in Tampa. That's a tough building to play in. Tampa Bay plays extremely well on home ice. But is Tampa going to be able to keep up with Florida as far as the defensive side of the ice? And Florida's definitely got that edge, especially when Ekblad comes back for Game 3.
How would you compare this Florida team to last year's team? Obviously, up until getting Jones, but they don't have Montour and they don't have Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So if Jones replaces one of them, he doesn't replace both. Are they just simply not as good top to bottom on the blue line this year?
Yeah, I think that's fair because, Oliver Ekman-Larsson was such a big part of this Panther team, and we know how big Brandon Montour was. I would say, it's safe to say that Seth Jones has replaced Brandon Montour. We haven't seen an OEL replacement yet, but Nate Schmidt has just really upped his game. He's been fantastic. Dmitry Kulikov was playing a lot more minutes than I think a lot of people expected him to. Now he's on a third pairing where he'll be very good there when he returns. So Florida feels very good once Ekblad comes back about their top six. They feel like they've been able to find some depth. Jacob Megna, he's a veteran guy. He's only got 300 NHL games, but he's stepped right in and is playing really well. The Panthers have been very happy with what he's brought. It was Valinskas, his first real NHL season coming over from Europe. He played mostly in the AHL last year for Florida. So Florida's got some guys that maybe people haven't heard of that are just doing a quietly really good job for them. We'll see who plays game one, and that will change in game three when Aaron Ekblad gets in.
George, as always, man, we appreciate the rundown. Enjoy it. From afar, I can't wait to see the battle. Florida, Tampa Bay, it's going to be a huge rivalry, and it should be loads of fun to see.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I think everybody, it's great. It's great for hockey, especially in this state. Everybody gets excited about it. This will be the fourth version of it. So in the past 5 years. So yeah, a lot of excitement in the Sunshine State for this one.
Awesome, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Good talking to you. We'll see you.
There you go. That's George Richards from Florida Hockey. Now, so the outside of Matthew Tkachuk, just nicks and bruises here. Ekblad won't be back until game 3, but that's pretty big. Because what if you're down 2-0? Now, yes, mathematically you can win 4 or 5. It's just way harder. So, defensively they have not been as good without Ekblad. So basically they're going to enter the playoffs. No Ekblad, no Montour, no Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and it's replaced. You want to say Jones replaces one of them? No problem. But then who's replacing the other two? Their defense core is not as good. And that's why when that series starts, I think I'm picking Tampa Bay. Even though Ekblad's going to join later in the series, I'm going Tampa Bay. 3:42, we'll return. And, it's been a hell of a start. Everybody likes, I think, competition. You don't know what's going to happen. That's when sports is its best. And that's what we got right now. We'll discuss it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
A secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
When you see big discounts discounts on a vehicle, you think last year's model, right? Not at St. Albert Dodge. They are continuing to knock 10% off the sticker price of every single 2025 Ram 1500 truck on the lot. We're talking this year's model. Motor Trend's Truck of the Year with a hot new interior and drivetrain options with increased horsepower and better fuel economy. The 2025 Ram 1500, 10% off and over 100 to choose from. That's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
At Vision Credit Union, we've been around a long time. In fact, we've been serving rural Alberta communities for 75 years. We launched in 1950 with $128, 21 members, and a mission to help our communities. It's still our mission today. That's why we return 75% of Vision's profits to members, offer full-service banking in underserved rural communities, and prioritize contributing to charitable causes in our hometowns. We're here for good. VisionCU.ca.
You love never dies. It lives on at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino proudly presents the Classic Rock Reunion.
I'm so into you. Amy.
Featuring Pure Prairie League, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Orleans, and Firefall. The Classic Rock Reunion. May 17th at the venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Tickets start at just $69.99 at rivercreeresort.com.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Check out The Ridge Social Eatery St. Albert. The Ridge is a locally owned, upscale neighborhood restaurant offering unbeatable daily features. Open daily at 11:30. Craving something late? Check out their new late-night menu from 8 till close. Enjoy brunch at The Ridge Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays until 2 p.m. Plus, there's open mic night every first Wednesday of the month and live music select Saturdays. Welcoming atmosphere, friendly staff, good times. For more, visit theridgestantalbert.com or social media.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a lovely Thursday afternoon, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. There's lots going on. Justin Rose bogeyed the 18th, so he finishes at 7 under. Connors, Scheffler are 3 back. Rory also, that's McIlroy 3 back, but he's got 4 holes to go. So, yeah, Rose, man, he was having on. Like, think about it. There's only, like, what is there? Not even, there's not many guys even below. I think there's 10 golfers that are 2 under or better. And then there's only a total of 14 that are 1 under. And then everybody else is even or better. So for Rose to be that much better than everybody else, it's pretty impressive. Let's get to the racing report, because usually that's how racing's been the last few years. One guy's way better than everybody else, but not this year. Racing report brought to you by Cantork. They offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, flange, maintenance equipment. Also big fans of the nut huggers. That's order now at cantork.com as Colin Livingston joins us once again. And Colin, for only the 4th time in F1 history, the top 6 started how they finished. So there was no passing amongst the top 6. And I just don't know. Now, it's a rarity because it's only ever happened 4 times. But there hasn't been a ton of passes really this year yet. So why is that? How can they make it? How can it improve to see a little bit more passing?
So the new rules package came in 2022. So this is the 4th season where they tried to take aerodynamic downforce from the cars and kind of create what's called ground effect. So instead of having the cars push into the track, they tried to have the cars suck into the track, which maybe sounds like the exact same thing, but it really, really isn't. So what they try and do is, as the air goes under the car, it's called the Venturi principle. As the little bit of air goes through, as it dissipates, it actually pulls more air in, creates a bit of a vacuum, and drops the car down. Where before, they were using wings and all these little attachments to kind of deflect the air to create the downforce. Over these last 4 seasons, the teams have developed in all these quote unquote gray areas, and they've exploited a lot of the rules to add more downforce instead of this ground effect. So what's happening now is the cars are creating more dirty air, which, since they're so aerodynamically sensitive and they're so dependent on this ground effect to actually suck the cars into the track, when they don't have air, as much air or this turbulent air, they're not able to do it. So passing has become extremely difficult. It's been a gradual thing. When these cars released 2022, I remember sitting here, probably in the old building, but we were talking about Bahrain and how great the opening laps were, because, Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc went side by side through like 4 corners. And it's like, holy, this is going to be awesome. Again, the teams have kept developing and developing. If you manage to get your car right in qualifying now, you pretty much have the edge throughout the race, as long as you don't make a mistake on pit stops. Because again, if you're out front, you get the benefit of all that clean air. Your car is going to drive many times better than the car that's trying to follow you. So that's just it. And it seems like it's going to get tighter and tighter throughout the year.
The fact that there was 2 red flags in the, does that have anything to do with the passing in your eyes, or?
Well, the red flags were during practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alonso's was in practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jack Doohan, he threw out the first one.
He crashed his like, that was quite he did like almost $2 million in damage, did he not?
Yeah. 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 So what Doohan did, again, it's going to sound like a joke, but it isn't. He had tried something in their simulator, which was going down the front straightaway, activating DRS, and leaving it open through, because the way you either manually depress the button to close the DRS, or if you rapidly decelerate or hit the brakes. Turn 1 in Japan is essentially wide open. So he tried it in the simulator and was able to get the car in their simulator to go through the corner, which is a crazy advantage. He tried that in practice.
Didn't work.
Obviously didn't work. It's kind of like playing, trying a trick you found in Grand Theft Auto in real life. And they said 1.5 million US damage to the car. He's already kind of on shaky ground because they have Colapinto as a reserve driver. Don't think he'll be playing a whole lot more games like that going forward. But yeah, and then the rest of the red flags were all for brush fires.
What did you make of Verstappen in the race?
He
not allowing the guy, he's always been pretty tough. He might be the best guy defending the pass. Is that fair?
There's nobody better right now for sure. And the argument is how much of it's the car. There's a lot of games going on between the teams. It seems like every weekend teams are showing up to the track saying, we don't think we got a real chance. And then they pick one of their competitors to say, no, we know that these guys are a lot quicker than us. There's a lot of talk that the Red Bull isn't that good and that Max is just awesome. Can't deny that Max is a great driver. The car, I think, is better than what they're letting on.
Okay.
The McLaren, they've got a little bit of work to do. Mercedes seems to really have a stable package. They just don't seem to be as quick. And Ferrari this weekend, they're introducing, it sounds like at least on Lewis's car, a new floor to help with the overall balance. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. This is a track, obviously now Bahrain is where all the preseason testing happens. The teams know it well. They were only there 2 months ago. So hopefully we get something to shake it up. Chance of rain is pretty much nil. So that could always make things a little bit more interesting. But again, qualifying is going to be everything.
Colin Livingston joins Cantor Racing report. Now there's some rumblings of V10s coming for the 2026 season, which it's like, less than a year away.
Yeah.
Is Is a V10 realistic to bring back in F1?
It's realistic to bring back, just not for 2026.
Okay.
I think these teams are really, really good at politicking and posturing and grandstanding. The idea of a V10 engine really started going away as the series tried to focus more on emerging technologies. When they started with the original energy storage, the KERS, the kinetic energy recovery system, and then they went to the full hybrid. When they did that, that was a monumental change for the series, because they went from naturally aspirated engines to these turbo hybrids, which, if you've ever been fortunate enough to hear one of the old generation Formula One cars, and I never subscribed to the theory that the sound of a car makes a big difference. I just cared about how it raced. But I got to hear the first year of the Edmonton Indy, they had two Formula One two-seaters come out. They were Minardi.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
The sounds of those engines. You could go back and watch. There's a million YouTube videos from the V8, V10, V12. These engines have such a sound. This is when the cars sang. They were so loud and they had this really cool pitch. And if you hear the cars now, as one guy described them, it sounds like a herd of flatulent elephants. They don't sound the same. They don't have that same kind of bark. The issue was the series wanted to go away from carbon-based fuel. They wanted to, lessen their impact. But now with the sustainable fuels, it's practical to reintroduce that kind of stuff. So if they can bring a V8 back, the racing, like the traditionalists will love it, the new fans will love it. And I think even if they dumb the cars down a bit, go back to an earlier generation aerospec where the cars weren't so sensitive, that the grip came as not quite as much from the tires, but take some of that aerodynamics out of the cars, we can really have some great racing again.
Colin Livingston joins us. Now, going to IndyCar. Long Beach Grand Prix is on tap this weekend. 50th year.
Yeah.
Is that one of the longest running tracks going?
For a street race? Absolutely. Yeah. They don't really, I mean, somebody can prove me wrong. I didn't go back and research every single street race, but Monaco, I believe, predates Long Beach.
Okay.
Because Long Beach was essentially created as an homage to Monaco, but really this is and it's been continuous running with the exception of the COVID years. Okay. But yeah, that race actually the first year was an F5000 race, which doesn't really exist anymore. Then from 76 to 83, it was a Formula One race.
Wow.
That was the U.S. Grand Prix once Watkins Glen went off the schedule. And then, since 1984, it's basically been, kart, champ car, IndyCar, whatever they want to call themselves any given year. But awesome race, spectacular to watch on TV, even for a street race for, the people who generally just watch Formula One. There will be passing. This isn't going to be a parade. You can actually pass in a lot of circumstances going into turn one, getting to watch the cars go around the fountain. Have you ever been to Long Beach?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah. So when you go there, it's a really touristy area. So there's the aquarium. It's the same area as the Spruce Goose and the Queen Mary. So that tends to be where a lot of people go to visit, but these are the same streets. So you see the fountain around turn 2 and turn 3. But really, it's the same layout that they've been running for 50 years. And so, they change it every couple of years, but a lot of the original streets are still in play.
Okay. Quickly now, you were in Belgium. Belgium.
Yes.
Right. You went. Did you go see Alfano? Is it Alfano?
Alfano. Yeah. Yeah. Again, we've kind of got two parts to our business. We've got the Cantork business, and then I've got a racing business that we represent various companies from around the world for go-karts and, all the accessories that go with that. And we got to walk through Alfano basically this time last week in Nivelles, just south of Brussels.
Okay.
What a facility. Not big and, absolutely not what I was expecting. The entire production line, the entire assembly floor is comprised entirely of females. Okay. And I said, my guide, I asked, I'm not trying to be rude. but why? And the lady said, well, Mr. Alfano believes that women are far more precise than men. Like, okay, that's really cool. But they actually produce like 90+% of their stuff in-house. Like I actually watched them assembling circuit boards. Normally, when you get these electronics, you'll get an overseas company to put everything together and then, or, you know, to do the main manufacturing. Then you've got a production line of just snapping all the parts and pieces together. But they do their own injection molding. So all the housings are made in-house. Everything's put together. The circuit boards are built in-house. Their cables are assembled in-house. Really, really cool stuff coming. The big thing is they've gone to these wireless sensors for us now. So we can actually put live sensors in our wheels, like between our wheel and our tire, that will monitor tire pressure in real time. So we can see, we set the pressures at 12 PSI in the pits. We can see how high they go, how low they go. Look at our fastest lap to see what the tire temperature was. Now, really, you can only use this in practice and testing. You can't use them, in an official race. But there's
Why not?
Because you're not allowed to have that kind of data. Okay. There's also a tire temperature sensor. So in the olden days of F1 and in IndyCar, you used to get these thermodynamic cameras, and they would show kind of how hot the tires got when they were in the braking zone and how they would cool down as they got on the straightaways. This is that same technology. So basically infrared sensors, so you can correlate your fastest lap with how hot the tire got at what pressure. You do that over a series of sessions. You really start to dial in exactly where. Right now, we have to do it by pressure and by experience, by experience and by guesswork. I normally start at this pressure. They come in at this. It felt okay. Now we can actually take a look at the data and really build, as they keep saying in Formula One and IndyCar, you need to get into that right window.
Yeah.
We can really start to define where that window is. So yeah, really, really, really cool to get over there and looking forward to showing more what these guys have throughout the year with our friends out at the track.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Good stuff. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Look forward to it.
That's Colin Livingston, the Racing Report, brought to you by Can Torque. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. Road trips, job sites, daily commutes. No matter where you drive, you need a team that keeps you rolling. And Fountain Tire does that more than just tires. They handle everything from alignments to brakes, shocks, and full mechanical services. Find your nearest store at fountaintire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers making a couple of moves, sending goaltender Olivier Rodrigue back to the Bakersfield Condors and recalling defenseman Cam Dineen on an emergency basis. They're off tomorrow, back in action. They're off tonight, back in action tomorrow. On the ice tonight, it's a busy one. You got the Blackhawks and Bruins, Panthers hosting the Red Wings, Sabres take on the Jackets, Caps, Canes, Rangers take on the Islanders, Stars host the Jets, Canucks in Colorado, Utah against the Preds, Kraken travel to Sin City, and the Kings take on the Anaheim Ducks. In the association, just 5 games tonight. Knicks in Detroit, Pacers host the Cavs, Hawks taking on the Nets, Bucks and Pelicans, and the Timberwolves head to Memphis. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays in action right now. Midway through the 7th, they lead the Red Sox 2-1. Later tonight, you got the Braves and Phillies. Other than that, though, it's all finals. Angels over the Rays 11-1. Guardians drop the White Sox 6-1. Twins losing to the Royals 3-2. And host the Rockies over the Brewers at home 7-2. Right now at the Masters, Justin Rose atop the leaderboard. He is currently 7 under par. Corey Connors, Canadian, tied with Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy for second spot. Other Canadians in the field: Nick Taylor +1, Mike Weir 3 over par, and Taylor Pendrith +5. And in the WHL tonight, Eastern Conference semifinal action with the Hurricanes in Calgary taking on the Hitmen. That will start just after 7. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Jeff Merrick from The Sheep. Also, here's another edition of the Oil Report and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul. Edmonton Trailer.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. This Edmonton-based tournament pairs hockey fans with some of their favorites from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend featuring a champions luncheon and tournament. Teams are already fundraising in the community, enabling the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories to continue providing help for today through free education programs and support services, and hope for tomorrow through research. For more information or to learn how you can get involved, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
You know how you look forward to all your favorite sports coming back in the spring? Soccer, baseball, golf. Well, GS Construction looks forward to getting back to work with the warmer weather. We're all excited and geared up for this very busy time of year. The groundbreaking season is upon us, and GS Construction is ready to roll with all sorts of new projects. Projects that help the community and make the place we live in better. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixers for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Zesty Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
It's another big goal for number 1, Titan Supply. They're dominating this series. Looks like a clean sweep.
Spring cleanup is an easy win with Titan Supply. Not only can you trust them to lift, dig, and haul, but with their spring special on industrial brooms, cleaning grime, rocks, and dirt from parking lots, streets, and more is a breeze. Their service inspections help ensure you're safe and ready for the upcoming season. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in projects, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Uh, 408. Welcome back. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. With you, the Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. It's Thursday, the Daily Grand. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca, $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Or you can get the one lump sum, of course, which is $7.3 million. But get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Hilarious trade today in the Ontario Hockey League ahead of the priority selection, which is the draft, that the Peterborough Petes and Sarnia swapped 15th round picks straight up. Why? I have no idea. And then they announced it. It's just, to me, it's quite comical. I don't Like, why? There's got to be some hilarious story behind this. I got to find out what it is because it just seems, yes, it seems very, very odd. 15th rounders, and they're swapping them for what? I don't know, but it is, it's pretty funny.
I think Sarnia got robbed, Gregor.
I don't even know who had the higher pick. That's a part of the trade. You're just like, wow, we're trading 15th round. Well, which one's higher? I'm not going to take time to look. I just thought it was pretty funny. Maybe we'll ask Merrick when we have him on here in about 10 minutes time. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Again, Justin Rose is the clubhouse leader at 7 under. Rory just bogeyed. So he's down to 2 under. So you've got actually doubled. Oh, he went from 4 to 2 just like that. So Justin Rose 7 under, Corey Connors, the Canadian, and Scotty Scheffler, both at 4 under par. Terrell Hatton at 3 under, and Ludwig Aberg is 3 under through 15. So there you have it. DeChambeau and Rory are at 2 under par. The Edmonton Oilers did make some moves today. Olivier Rodrigue has been reassigned to Bakersfield. They're going to need him. 2 big games this weekend. That also means 100% Stuart Skinner will be activated tomorrow. I'm guessing he's going to play. I'd be surprised if his first game back as a backup. It's a possibility, but I think he's going to play tomorrow night against the San Jose Sharks, who, by the way, scored 7 goals on Marc-Andre Fleury last night. So don't sleep on the Sharks. They give up a lot, but they got some guys who can score. Celebrini, of course, his first NHL hat trick, his first 5-point game. Guys who had 5 points as 18-year-olds. McDavid never did. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Oiler fans, he did. Remember that? Had that 5 assist game. I think it was against Chicago. Then later on, that's when he tripped into the boards and hurt his shoulder. Not same game, but same building, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe the 5 points was at home. I got to check it out. But either way, Sharks will come to town. They give up a lot, but they can score. So Stuart Skinner and the Oilers will want to be prepared. Also, Cam Dineen has been recalled on emergency basis. So he's coming up. Probably means Jake Wallman won't be playing tomorrow night. But you might see Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl is going to take the morning skate, and then he's going to talk to the media after practice to kind of give an update on where he's at. Is he ready to go? We'll find out. He's getting closer. I think Draisaitl would like to get into at least 2 of the final 4 games. So looking it up, Nugent-Hopkins game actually was at home. So there you go. Other news around the Edmonton Oilers, and we got a lot of text coming in on this at 833-401-1440 to ask the question, like, how good do you think the Oilers are? And because I looked at it and I went through their injuries, like their first 20 games of the season, the Oilers were 10-8-2. They weren't very good against playoff teams. And so that's why when people say, oh, Gregor, look at the Oilers' record against playoff teams this year. But they were 1-7 in their first 8. Since then, they're 15, 12, and 2. Right? So a lot better. But they were brutal in the first 20 games of the season. So that's why you see a stat. I'm like, okay, now let's dig deeper into the stat. So the Oilers on the season are 16-7-4, but they were 1-5-2 through their first 20 games of the season when they played playoff teams. And I'm counting all the teams that are in the playoffs because I think the teams that are in are the teams that are going to be in. I don't see Calgary getting in, and obviously none of the teams are going to make up an 8-point difference on Montreal here in the final 5 games of the season. They're not officially done, but they're done. Let's make no mistake about it. So the Oilers. Hey, do you want them to be a little bit better record against playoff teams? Sure, but I always like to compare it to everybody else. There's very few teams that have a dominant record against playoff teams. Why? Because they're all good. You can have a dominant record against the non-playoff teams, as the Oilers do. They were doing the quick math in my head. 6, 15, 28. They're 31, 9, and 1 against non-playoff teams. But just like most of the teams around the league. It's just how it goes, right? You have success against the bad teams. And then against the good teams, everybody's pretty close. But the Oilers in the first 20 weren't that good. Then they got rolling. That 30-game stretch, they're the best team in the NHL. They went 9-4-1 against playoff teams, 13-3 against non-playoff teams, total of 22-7-1. McDavid missed 3 games that time. Hyman missed 5. Arvidsson missed 11. And they were still good. They've had stretches. Even lately, when they're 9-6-1 here in their last 16 games since the trade deadline, McDavid's missed 8. Draisaitl and Skinner have missed 7. Ekholm's missed 12. Fredericks missed 15. Nugent-Hopkins, Hyman, Wallman have each missed 1. Like, some key players have missed games. And, like, think about it. Like, last night, no Nugent-Hopkins, no Wallman, no Frederick, no Skinner, no Ekholm, no Draisaitl. Like, that's pretty significant. And you beat a team that was 12-1 in their last 13. So give the Oilers credit. That's why when I ask the question, how good are they? I think the Oilers, if their health holds up, I think the Oilers are a really good team, and I have them as one of the legit playoff records. Legit. Hey, guys, any word on Frederick? I'm assuming he's out to the start of the playoffs at least. I know I'll find out tomorrow. He went through tests yesterday again. And then we'll see. I'd be surprised if you see Frederick. Like, would you play him the final regular season game? To me, what would be the point at that point? Because you play on a Wednesday, then you don't play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'd give him the extra rest. So, yeah, I think Frederick at this point is probably, we'll see in the playoffs. And that could be okay. He's obviously the high ankle sprain. It's no joke. And it's likely going to be a pain threshold thing for him. So maybe Trent Frederick will beat Connor Brown. Doesn't play in the first round, comes back after, makes a pretty big impact. Because I think a lot of you forget that Connor Brown was a healthy scratch, the LA series, didn't play game 1 against Vancouver, then he got in. So that's where I see it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. Hey, guys, you know who has the best record against playoff teams? I do not. And again, like, what if you had a really good start? Like, the Oilers are 1-5-2. You're not recovering from that. So their whole season is going to look meh. So that's why, again, to me, I would say what's the records in the second half of the season? It's probably a little bit better to look at. Because if I look at the whole season, like what you did in October, even if you went 7-0, I think it's kind of irrelevant now. Different team, like it's 6 months later, right? Were those teams sharp? I don't know. So, hey guys, wasn't Fogle a healthy scratch? Yeah, Fogle was a healthy scratch. I think in one of the games against LA, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, hey guys, you know what? And which is, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the Oilers should have signed Fogle. I'm telling you, Warren Fogle wasn't coming back to Edmonton. He wanted to go somewhere he felt like he would get more of an opportunity. And that's his right. Right? That's, he got the money close to what he wanted, but it came down to, he wanted to get somewhere where he was going to get a little bit more of an opportunity. I get it. Now, because remember, Fogle, he sat out 3 games last year in the playoffs. And which is fine. But it just kind of illustrates, I think, people, you got to have depth. I'm looking in the LA series, Fogle missed 1 game. He played Vancouver. Dallas, he only played, he missed 3 games in the Dallas series. So he actually missed, 3 in Dallas and not in LA. He missed the Dallas series 3 games. So those are the 3 games he missed. Hey, guys, do you think the Oilers would be interested in Kuznetsov and would he be eligible for the league? His KHL contract was terminated yesterday. No, I don't think the Oilers have any interest in Kuznetsov. And because, like, if you have a draft pick who comes free, he can play. But I don't think Kuznetsov is eligible to play in the playoffs right now. I'm almost certain he wouldn't be. So, kind of a moot point. So. Hey, Gregor, considering how tight-lipped the Oilers are, I'm skeptical these players will be back 100%. I think we're starting the playoffs with our most important guys banged up. Mike, Well, Mike, do you think Connor McDavid's banged up? If he is, why would he play last night? Right? Like, I don't, and it's okay to have an opinion on it, but I think the Oilers have been pretty cautious with guys. And if they come back before the playoffs, then I don't think they're banged up. Now, if guys wait till the playoffs, then maybe there's some validity to that. But if a guy's banged up, are you going to play him in a regular season game? Like, would you play him against San Jose if he's banged up? Probably not. I don't think so. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. Jeff Merrick will join us next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor100 and make a deposit. Get a free $100 casino play at PlayAlberta.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
At Fountain Tire, our focus is taking care of your vehicle. Your focus? Saving up to 25% off select tires. Plus, getting up to a $120 mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select tires until April 26th. So we both win. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank. Plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products. 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Gregor, Halley, Declan Kruger running things at Sports 1440 online at Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. Thanks so much for watching, listening to the show. You take it anywhere on the app. We appreciate that as well, as we are a week away from the end of the regular season. Next Thursday night, the final games. Now, the Oilers' regular season ends next Wednesday. My understanding is they're planning on, if they go to LA, barring some miracle here in the last week where it's in Edmonton, but they will fly to San Jose on the Tuesday. They play the Sharks on the Wednesday, and they will just stay in California to face the LA Kings, most likely on the Sunday, is what I'm hearing. Not 100%, but the Kings play on this Thursday the 17th. The NHL doesn't like teams who play on Thursday to have to turn around and play on the Saturday. So that's kind of how it's been. So expect the Oilers and the Kings to get going on the Sunday. Who knows what time? Probably the late game. Get some naps in. Remember last year, the fun times of the 8:50 2 puck drops? Well, it's coming again, unfortunately. But then the great part is the third and the fourth rounds. You get there, then it's all of a sudden 6:20, and you're like, this is unreal. So it's all or nothing. Maybe get a Saturday afternoon game. That'd be nice. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride at silentrides.ca. We are joined by the voice of the sheet at dailyfaceoff.com. Jeff Merrick joins us as he does every Thursday. Jeffrey, how you doing?
How are you? I am well, and when you want to grouse about start times, always remember, blame television. When in doubt, blame TV. The beginning of and the end of every single issue as hockey fans. Anyway, how are you, Jason?
Hey, buddy, I'm pretty good. I'm very. Now, does your mother call you Jeffrey?
So I am blessed with two moms. Unfortunately, my one mom, I was adopted.
Okay.
And my adopted mom called me Jeffrey.
Okay.
It was always Jeffrey, but my birth mom only started calling me Jeffrey as I got old. We met when I was 19 or 20.
Okay.
When I got into my 30s, all of a sudden she started calling me Jeffrey. Privately, I think it's because it makes her feel younger.
Oh, okay. Nice. I want to get your thoughts on Demidov and the impact you think he could make on the Habs. Could he be now? That means it'd have to go deep. But could he have an impact like Caulfield did when he came in as a rookie in 21 playoffs?
I thought you were going to say Ken Dryden. I really did. I thought you have an impact like Ken Dryden. I mean, that's the way they're talking about him, right? Like they're coming in. This is the next, Ken Dryden going to drop in and win the Conn Smythe before he wins the Calder. I always try to remain cautious, and I try to remain reserved, and I think about things like, Matvei Michkov, who when he joined the Flyers this year, still had a pace issue that he needs to work through in the game, some defensive issues, some, defensive responsibilities, where to be on the ice at a certain time. I always wonder about a sort of breaking in process. And then I remember everything that everyone told me about him. And mind you, I haven't watched full games. I've only watched clips and seen what this guy can do. I don't know that it doesn't feel to me like when you talk to people around Montreal that there's going to be much of a breaking in process. Even having said that, they are going to, I think, ideally go slowly with him. But when you look at the skill set, when you look at, what he's been able to achieve so far, when you look at some of the comparables that we're talking about here, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I don't want to say big impact because we still don't know, but to have at least some type of positive effect here on the Montreal Canadiens. Do you want to let your mind wander and just think about, all the hockey fantasies you have about kid comes over from a different country, a different league, and lights it up and leads a fabled franchise to unperceived heights. You can. I just try to, I don't know, Jason, I just try to temper everything and say, still a kid, new environment, new city, lots of pressures. Like if you look at all the markets around the NHL, you know, there's going to be maybe the most pressure on a team, even though it's kind of found money in some ways. There's always pressure on Montreal hockey teams. I always say to myself, that's a lot. That's a lot to heap on a kid, because the skill is one thing and that's what your body can do. But then there's the whole mental game and acclimatizing yourself. I don't know. I would like to say that he's going to come in and have a huge impact. It's just a byproduct of getting older. But I always sort of temper expectations for kids.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I look at, like, this guy's pretty dynamic player. Now, I like really dynamic. And good for Montreal. And, I don't know if they thought they'd get him this quick, and who knows? He's a really young player, but he's been playing against men for a few years in Europe, and that helps. And it's a huge transition. But sometimes, that youthful ignorance comes into the playoffs, and it's almost like you don't understand the magnitude of the game, and you just go play.
You know what I wonder about too? It's a really good point. Let me pick up on something there. The youthful sort of ignorance, youthful exuberance, however we want to describe it. In the playoffs, coaches need to know what a player is going to do when he taps them on the shoulder. Like if you're Marty St. Louis here, you're going to get to test drive this guy for a couple of games. You're going to have a short runway here of trying to get to know this player. And when you look at the postseason, sometimes one shift can decide an entire game. If you're Marty St. Louis here, like you don't have a lot of room to sort of make these decisions. Like, okay, I know that Demidov is going to do this in this situation. I know he's going to be fine here. There's a lot on Marty St. Louis here as well. Like how much is overplaying the kid? Do you even want to put the kid in situations where you don't know how he's going to react? Like this is a lot. Like I'm with you. Like the youthful exuberance is great, and it's a shot in the arm, and those players in the room are certainly excited. But I always wonder about the coach. I wonder what goes through Marty St. Louis' head when he says, "I really want to put Demidov out there, but I don't know what's going to happen if I do." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's probably something to that, but. He's got a lot of guys in that line, if you could say that about maybe. So maybe he just kind of.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? I'm glad you mentioned that point too, because you're right. The other thing about it too is like there's some players on this team all of a sudden have kind of turned into different players in front of our eyes. Now they're two very specific players, and I wonder if part of it is just being the byproduct of being around and playing with Brendan Gallagher. But if I told you at the beginning of the year that Montreal Canadiens fans would fall in love with Josh Anderson and Christian Dvorak.
Yeah.
What would you have said? You'd be like, Merrick, you're eating space cake. Not a chance.
Yeah.
But like, look how well they perform, and look how much Montreal Canadiens fans you can't fool. Like they know who's playing well and they know who's not playing well. They love these guys. If I told you like Josh Anderson was getting like 16 goals this year and Christian Dvorak was going to get standing ovation and play great, you would have said, beat it. But here we are.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah. It's things can change quickly. Have a little bit of success, and not everybody's looking for every negative. Although some people do. Doesn't matter what happens. As Jeff Merrick from the Sheet joins us. Let's stay with Montreal, and then we'll move on. But the two guys that are up for the Calder, and Hudson's had a great year. Celebrini had his first hat trick, 5-point night last night. He's over 60 points now. Really impressive stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a fun projection question.
Okay.
Lane Hudson, Celebrini. Who do you think in 10 years has the better career?
Oh, wow. So I look at Macklin Celebrini and I say he is going to be a more offensively gifted version of Jonathan Toews. Would you agree with me on that? That he's going to be that guy. He's going to be Jonathan Toews, but more points.
Okay. No, I could see that. Right. I don't know if he's the captain serious. He's a little bit more laid back, but the player on the ice, I totally agree with.
As far as the 200-foot player, responsible, like the whole leadership thing aside, I'm just talking about like how he plays.
Yeah.
Lane Hudson is fascinating because I don't know that we've even begun to scratch the surface of what this guy is going to turn into. I guess like the closest thing we can look at is probably Quinn Hughes, but even then he's kind of a different player than Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
My initial instinct is Macklin Celebrini, because we've seen this trajectory before. Like we can kind of see where this is heading. I still don't know that we know where Lane Hudson is heading. He's kind of like a real new age player here. Like, who would you compare him to? I mean, an incredibly gifted skater. He's new age in that, you know, if we look at where the game is heading, and that is positionless hockey, he fits in like a glove.
Yeah.
Right. And you look at how he plays. I have a heart. It's kind of like grasping a handful of water. I don't know where Lane Hudson's going to go. I know this is a horrible sports talk radio answer. I realize that. I recognize that. I just don't, like, I respect you and your audience too much to give a frivolous answer. I just don't know where Lane Hudson is heading.
Dude, I'm with you. That's why I asked.
He's like that much of a different hockey player that we don't know where this kind of skill at that position is going to take him. Right? Like, we've seen smaller defensemen before, but like we marvel at Quinn Hughes. And I think we're looking at Lane Hudson. We're saying the same thing. Okay, where is this all going to go? And I wonder how much of that is going to be a reflection of, well, as this game evolves here, where's the game going to let him evolve to? You know, we just went through, I'm going to make a long-winded point here. We just went through the Ovechkin race, the Ovechkin chase.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot. So it gave us a lot of opportunity to look at, you know, Wayne Gretzky in his career, and before him, Gordie Howe in his career. And just think about how much the game has changed. You know, since Howe scored his goals and Gretzky scored his goals and now Ovechkin has scored his goals, and whomever comes next is going to score his goals. Like the game, it's funny, I was talking to a coach on the weekend, and I said, how often do you see the game changing? And he said, the game changes every 5 years. I'm like, what? He goes, the game changes every 5 years. He goes, look at simple things. Like, we are always taught, like, you know, puck turns over, stops and starts. Now it's all punch turns. You can't stop and start anymore. Like, the game has moved that quickly. You got to do a punch turn. That's the way you stay in the play. And you have to be able to understand where the game is going, where the game is heading. And I wonder if Lane Hudson is not just going to be the byproduct of his own skill, but how much this game opens up for a player like him. Like, I look at Macklin Celebrini and say, that guy can play at any era, which I think is one of the best compliments you can pay a player.
Right.
But I don't know. I just wonder, like, he could go down as being one of the best if the game allows that. And it does look like this is the way the game is headed. Bad answer, but that's all I got for Lane Hudson. But the answer is, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what it feels like to me.
No, that's fair. Now, speaking of, you know, changing, the game changes all the time. John Tortorella just got let go. You look at you know, in the New York Rangers right now, Laviolette doesn't seem to be like that. It's working. Are we going to see a little bit of an influx here of younger coaches, guys who have, you know, maybe coached a different way, you know, the punch turns, just a little bit more attacking, a little bit more freewheeling. Are we going to see that?
Yeah. I think we will, along with the rise of the college player, the new school player. I do think that look, there's going to be a number of college coaches that make their way to the NHL probably sooner than later. I think you and I have talked about Pat Ferschweiler before from Western Michigan. You know, I wonder about, I wonder about Jay Pandolfo eventually. Now his kid just got named to the development program team, so he's going to be a couple of years away and going to BU. And does he want to coach his kid? And is that going to keep him away from the NHL? Because how many chances do you have to do that? I think we're all wondering about David Carl, and when that ends up happening. I'll tell you what. There's another name, like the Washington Capitals bench is a very successful bench, as you well know, and Spencer Carberry's going to win the Jack Adams this year. We all know that. But look, you've seen firsthand, I'm sure, in the Western League, you know how good a coach Mitch Love is. He was good in the Western League. He was good at Stockton and then Calgary. In the American Hockey League, he's part of one of the more progressive benches in the NHL. He interviewed with San Jose, I believe he was the finalist, also interviewed for Calgary. Carberry recognized how smart of a coach he is and brought him aboard with him. So I think that there will be new blood. It does feel that way amongst the coaching ranks. And I'll throw another one out at you. If you look at the history of the National Hockey League, which, as you all know, stretches back to 1917, there's only been three coaches. There's only been three coaches that have won the Stanley Cup with multiple teams. That's it.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Well, it's hard.
It is one of the hardest things to do in hockey as a coach. Win with multiple teams. I know there's always a thing. Well, he knows how to win. He's going to win the cup. We haven't seen it since Scotty Bowman.
Well, the reason I ask is I just look at the WHL, and I was looking at their Coach of the Year nominees this year. So you have James Patrick, who's 61.
Yeah,
all right.
Willie Desjardins.
Desjardins, Bill Peters, Brad Lauer, good coach. But I'm just like, man, there's not a lot of young coaches around. And I look at hockey and that's at the junior, that's at the major junior level. And there's some, of course, right? Like obviously the Old Kings coach isn't old by any stretch of the imagination. I was kind of taken aback by that. And I'm just like, now Dan De Silva is the one young guy. He's kind of the difference maker, right? He's, I think, under 40, or maybe he's 40 now, but the other guys are like 60. And it's not to be an ageist here, but I look sometimes in hockey and I feel like, you know what, it's a lot of the same old. And you can recycle and some guys can adapt, but lots of guys don't. You are who you are, and you have certain things that you like to coach and teach, and it doesn't always change.
You know what I wonder about a lot is young coaches can get the X's and O's. Young coaches can, I'm going to just refute my own point here for a second. Coaches can get the X's and O's. Coaches can, understand all the new ways to coach, the sophisticated ways to do things, and can get all of that. Okay. But one of, if not maybe the best skill a coach can have is communication. And that takes a long time. It takes a long time to feel comfortable communicating. Listen, I was talking about this on the show today. John Cooper is probably the best in the NHL at it. Spencer Carberry is right there. What did we always say about Bruce Boudreau? In our regular season, his teams were always great. Like, they're always winning teams. Like, he wasn't the best X's and O's guy, but what did he always do better than anybody else? He was a great communicator.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to know something, and it's another thing to be able to get it from your brain to your tongue into someone else's head. That's hard.
Oh.
And I don't think that's a skill that you can learn, quickly. Or, hey, I'm 25 years old. I know all these things. I'm ready for the NHL. Yeah, go communicate that to someone who has $50 million in the bank already. It's a real skill that I don't know that we really pay enough attention to.
I'll say this though, Jeff. I have talked to so many players who have told me off the record some of the worst technical coaches they've had have been in the NHL.
I believe it.
Right? And
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's where I'm kind of like, and guys who have a reputation because, they get somebody in the media who's like, I don't know, they got a buddy somewhere. Oh, this guy's a really good coach. I'm like, based on what? Based on what? Because he's had lots of opportunities, but they never won. And I always look at it, a coach, like, hey, if you have all bad players, you're not going to be a good coach. But a good coach for a development coach for sure is if you look where he's at, how many kids from the teams he coached move on to the next level and continue to have success? That's a really good barometer, especially for younger coaches, I find. And I look at the NHL and you talk about guys who, you win somewhere because you're really good. Like, I love John Cooper's in Tampa Bay. I'd love to see John Cooper. Okay, let's see you go somewhere else where you don't have Vasilevsky, Point, all these guys, and let's see what you, and it's not a knock, but let's see what you build, right? Let's see what you build.
Have I ever mentioned to you Joel Quenneville in job interviews? Have we ever had this conversation?
No.
So Joel Quenneville, when he interviews for a job, only asks one question. And that question is this: who's our goalie? That's it. When it comes down to, do you have any questions? Only one question: who's our goalie? Right? We've talked about it before. The straight line you draw between the crease and the bench. Like if you don't have a good goalie, you're sunk. How many times have you seen coaches get punted because the goalie's, GAA is .888? At the end of it, Alain Vigneault would always talk about how easy hockey is. Hockey's easy, Jeff. If your goalie's better than my goalie, you win. But if my goalie's better than your goalie, I win.
And you know what? I think that's been proven to be a little bit wrong lately because
little bit, yeah.
Like if you look at teams, if you have a good environment in front of your goalie doesn't need to be a superstar. He just needs to be serviceable.
Now, okay, let me ask you this: can you explain Darcy Kemper this year? Then
I think Darcy Kemper's he's always been a pretty good goalie, right, for many years, and now he's got a good system.
Pretty good goalie, absolutely. And I think that very quietly, Corey Schwab. You look at the goaltenders he's turned out, and Darcy Kemper is one of them. He's probably one of the goalie coaches we haven't talked enough about. But all of a sudden now, I wonder how much of this is to take nothing away from Darcy Kemper. Like Connor Halley's going to win the Vezina. We all know that. But Darcy Kemper is going to be a top 3, or at least should be a top 3. How much of that is the environment that Jim Hiller's created amongst that team, around that team?
Yeah. Well, no, it's pretty good. But you know what? Like, look at Hellebuck's numbers last year, Jeff, until the playoffs. And then what happened? And that's where, you had a great goalie. And then what happened?
And that's why, listen, no surprise why they brought in Luke Shen for that back end. Like, what have we been saying about the Winnipeg Jets all season long? Is the blue line big enough?
Yes.
And if those guys are getting pinched all of a sudden, because I remember, whenever I've talked to Connor Hellebuyck the last couple of years, he's always said the same thing. I'm not doing anything different. I just know where the shots are coming from. And that's my blue line. But I'm the same goalie. All the credit's got to go to these guys because they don't let shots get to me that surprise me. I know where the shots are coming from. But you're right. That changes in the postseason.
Yep.
That completely changes in the postseason.
Yep. Should be good stuff, man. We appreciate it, Jeff. Have yourself a great weekend.
Thanks, Hal. You be good, Jason.
There you go. That's Jeff Merrick from The Sheet. Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, the Daily Grand. Get your tickets, $1,000 a day or a grand total of $7.3 million. It's your choice, PlayAlberta.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Spring, where everything is coming up roses, except for GS Construction. We're heading underground, and we couldn't be happier. Spring is always a busy time of year for everyone trying to get out there and do some work. Well, GS Construction agrees. And we also agree that we just might need some help. So if you're looking to work and join a group where safety, teamwork, and continuous improvement have been at our core since 1974, send us a resume. Come work with us this spring. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Spring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Get up to 35% off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Get a king for the price of a queen on select mattresses. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 or more major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixes for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Sexy Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Orders today at cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.452. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, as we roll through Thursday afternoon. And still a few guys out on the course. Bryson DeChambeau making a little late push, as did Ludwig Aberg. So now there's 4 guys at -4. Of course, Justin, that includes Canadian Corey Connors. Justin Rose, -7. He's the clubhouse leader. And with DeChambeau, see what he does with the 2 holes to go, but could have a 4-way tie for second place. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where saving you more is what they do. Mattresses, furniture, appliances, you name it, they got it. Great savings. The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, last night I tweeted out there, do you think Connor McDavid gets to 100 points? And a few people said to me, maybe, but only if he plays in all the games. So my question to you, of the final 4 games, how many does Connor McDavid play, and will he get at the century mark?
I think he'll play 3. For sure. God, I could see him getting 3 or 4. If I could see him get 3 or 4 points tomorrow night, honestly, against Sharks. So, yeah, and I know some people say, well, it doesn't really matter. Well, in the grand scheme of life, you're right. But in the history books, it does matter. Because if you look at players who have scored 100 points, how many guys have scored 100 points 8 times? How about 3? Right? Now he's probably going to do it, but he's got a real good chance to become the only the second player with 11, right? Because currently he has 7. So if he does it this year, if he gets 7 points, he would have 8. That would tie Marcel Dion, who has 8. Lemieux had 10. Gretzky had 15. So I do think in that folklore, it matters. You can get there to 11 or 12. You're ahead of Gretzky and Lemieux, sure. So and the big thing is Connor McDavid has talked a lot about feel, and he wants to play. He mentioned last night, like there's the mental aspect to get over, just getting back. And I think, that was a good step for him last night. You get over that mental hurdle. Okay, look, I pushed off here. I pushed off there. I feel good. Great. So I think he could play 3. And do I think he gets 7 points in 3 games? Yeah, I do.
I think I'm with you, and I think it comes in like those first three where he finds his stride, puts up the points like he does. Like last night, kind of casual look at the score sheet. Oh shoot, 3 points! Like it can happen that quickly for him. So yeah, I'm not gonna write it off because it's Connor McDavid, and I think you'd be silly to underestimate him, think that he's not motivated by that 100 point mark. So yeah, I'm with you. I think it's 3 games, and I think he will surpass the 100 point mark. Question for you, and this one's just for you because you saw him in person. Did he show any sign of injury from what you saw?
No, not injury, but I did see there was a little hesitation at times in his game where I saw, he would look to go into a place that he normally would go. He didn't go. And that's totally fine. It's their first game back. I felt as the game went on, because when he was on the ice, I was really honing in on his shifts. I thought he took a little bit shorter shifts than he normally does. So that's part of cardio, and that's normal. But there was a few times where I saw him when he would engage into a battle that he normally would go recklessly. He didn't. And that will eliminate itself just as he gets playing more. And that's not a knock. That's not a bad thing. I think that's smart from a player, recognizing that, this isn't necessarily the game that I got to go all gusto. Not that he didn't try, because obviously he had 3 points. He tried. But he was smart in how he approached, I feel, certain areas of the ice. How about that?
Good answer. Question number 3. Do you think the missed time is going to hurt Leon Draisaitl's heart hopes?
Good question. McKinnon's sitting out again tonight for Colorado. So I don't because no one else, I actually think in a way it's helping him. No one else has 50 goals, and this guy's going to miss 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Well, he's already missed 7, or 8, whatever it is. That, if he ends up missing 10 and he misses 10 and still scores 50, yeah, I think he could still win. I don't think it's going to impact it that much.
I'm with you. I mean, it's a few games, but like you said, Nathan McKinnon missing a couple here as well. And I think you'll just see that in the, decreased time, he's still going to run away with the goal scoring lead and, his defensive play. We've seen it all season. He's just valuable on the ice. So I don't think it will too much, maybe for some voters, but I still think he wins it. Question number 4 for you. We're a day into the Masters. Who would you say would be your pick to win it all?
Well, it's pretty easy after one day, and you got a guy with a 3-stroke lead. Justin Rose looked really good. But I'm going to go totally with my heart. Corey Connors, 2021, 2021 and 22, top 10 every year. Can he get to Sunday and then play well? So it would be easy to pick Scotty Scheffler because obviously he's the best golfer in the world right now, but I'm going to go with a little bit of an underdog. Corey Connors.
I wanted to go Rory, but holy cow, he's even now.
God, yeah, he really fell apart here.
So
down the stretch.
I can't go Rory. Yeah, I'm going to go Bryson DeChambeau right now, 3 under par, 4 strokes back on hole 17. Not maybe the biggest surprise, but Bryson DeChambeau will be my pick. And it's final question for you today. It's National Siblings Day. So feel free if you'd like to give your siblings a shout out. And outside of your own, who are your favorite siblings out there?
Well, obviously I'm going with my own, my brother Colin, my sister Rachel, duh. But favorite, famous sibling families, I guess is what you're talking about.
In any aspect you want, you can take any route. Music, acting, sport.
Oh my God. You go first. I got to think about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Megan and Lauren, got to give them a shout out as well. I'm not sure if they're listening, but favorite, it's pretty open because there's so many. But if I think to the guys who, have brought me a little joy and pain, I go Peyton and Eli Manning. Peyton's SNL appearance is probably one of the funniest ones I've ever seen. Eli beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl, did me a solid there, and the Manning cast is still great content. So I respect them for what they've been doing on the field, their profession, and then what they translated it into afterwards. So I'll give a shout out to the Manning brothers.
Well, good one. I guess I'm going to go with guys because of some of the movies that I quite liked. I'm going to go with Ben and Casey Affleck. So pretty good resume. Obviously, Ben has a little bit more on his resume, but Casey's, Casey's not bad at all. So I will go with him.
I thought about going with the Culkins.
Well, Kieran's really come on lately, right?
He's crushing it now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Macaulay gave us Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, so those are some of my classics.
And My Girl.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I know how it ends. I know I had my sisters in tears when they were younger, but I didn't see it myself.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else. I had a real yeah.
In terms of music,
Yeah.
the Jackson family had hits.
Well, yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Dude, I'm not the best on music, so who would else even be? Well, I guess the Bee Gees, the Gibb
Bee
brothers,
Gees, yeah.
right? They're pretty good.
AC/DC, the Youngs.
Right? The Beach Boys, right? There
Beach
was
Boys.
Carl and Brian and Dennis Wilson. So, yeah. Now, was ABBA ever, were they siblings? I didn't know. I should ask Stretty. He would know. I don't think they were, but I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Right? Wasn't AC/DC, weren't they brothers, Angus and Malcolm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I might have to go with them then.
Maybe you like the Kardashians?
No. You could not pay me. I've never watched anything. Did they do nothing? There's zero that intrigues me about them. Zero.
Not the Jenners then either, hey?
Are they the same?
Well,
it's all one family now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Maybe you like one and not the other.
Nope. I can't comment on them because I don't watch them, but I have zero interest. Zero. Now, if you're talking athletics, siblings, obviously, the Williams sisters were pretty good from a sports standpoint. You mentioned the Manning brothers. Kelsey brothers had pretty good, successful run as athletes. Now, Wayne was unreal, and obviously, his brother played in the NHL, but not to the same level. Phil and Tony Esposito, that's pretty good. Brother, the Rocket and the Pocket Rocket. It's a pretty good one. So the Sutters.
Got to say the Sutters, yeah.
Yeah.
Sedines.
Yeah, Sedine's not bad. Yeah, look at their numbers, though. I've always said it. Kind of overrated. Just going to go to break. Let's get to the comment. And sports 1440. Well, just look at their numbers. All I'm saying. Right? Like people are like, oh my God, unbelievable. They had 100-point season. Let's get to Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Now, unbelievable human beings, I'll say that. What they did in the community totally matters. So there. Truck month is now on at GMC. Get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on a 2025 Sierra HD model. It's gmccanada.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night tonight on the ice. Getting going shortly. You got the Blackhawks and the Bruins. Panthers host the Red Wings. Sabres in Columbus. Caps meet the Hurricanes. A Battle of New York between the Rangers and the Islanders. Stars host the Jets. Canucks in Colorado. Utah up against the Preds. Kraken in Vegas. And the Kings taking on the Ducks in the association. Just 5 games. Pistons host the Knicks. Cavaliers travel to Indiana. You got the Nets and Hawks. Pelicans, Bucks, and the Grizz taking on the Timberwolves. Major League Baseball. Blue Jays in action right now, top of the 10th. They are tied with the Red Sox at 2 apiece. Later tonight, you got the Braves and Phillies. Earlier on this afternoon, Angels beating up on the Rays 11-1. Guardians defeat the White Sox 6-1. The Twins fall to the Royals 3-2, and the Rockies over the Brewers 7-2. At the Masters, after one round, Justin Rose top leaderboard -7. Canadian Corey Connors tied with Scotty Scheffler and Ludwig Oberg at 4 under par. As for the other Canadians in the field, you've got Nick Taylor 1 over, Mike Weir 3 over, and Taylor Pendrith is a +5. And in the WHL tonight, the Eastern Conference semifinals get going between the Hurricanes and Hitmen. That gets going at 7 o'clock down in Calgary. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Thomas Hall, talks some Blue Jays. And up next, it's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at usedcarwash.com.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with the tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I love the word April. April would be a good nickname for me because April is the month where we have the most quality used RVs on our lot. That includes camping trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, toy haulers, big ones, small ones, and they're all in one convenient location here in Leduc.
Sounds like a lot of used RVs, Rick.
That's right, Bob. We always have hundreds of used RVs for you to see up close and personal. But in April, we have even more because the people who sell their RVs with us know that this is when folks are looking to buy. It's the best time of the year, whether you're buying or selling.
Sounds like you'll be busy in April, Rick.
You know it, Bob. Our team works hard connecting families with the right used RV for their outdoor lifestyle. With one trip to No Bull, you can see more RVs than you'd ever think possible. And it's a great way to spend a day in April.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Nick says, Gregor, come on. I don't like the Sedins, but no, let's just look at their numbers. So Daniel Sedin had one season of over 84 points 1 year. He had 140-goal season. Henrik, more productive. He had, I think, 6 80-point seasons, but never scored 30 goals and only had more than 22 once. Like, honestly, good. But when people talk about like, oh my God, so great, I don't think so. No. And that's just me. Smart players, unbelievable human beings. If we're talking about humanitarians, they're right at the top. But if you just look at their actual numbers, you can compare them. Never had a 30-goal season for Henrik. Had one season of over 22 goals. 22 goals. Daniel had one 40-goal season. 1 year over 84 points. Good. I'm not even sure it's great, to be honest, but that's just me. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of PlayAlberta.ca. As let's get to the spec report, brought to you by GS Construction. They are, of course, number one underground infrastructure specialist company, and they're hiring. Go to gsconstruction.ca, find out, apply today. As Mark Spector joins us. Spec, how you doing, my man?
Doing great. I was just listening to your stuff on. I was really surprised. I thought that Danny Sedin had a 50-goal season at one point.
Nope. Had 40 goals once, right? Like great human beings, don't get me wrong. And it was 41, right? So never really that close to 50, right? He had 41 and had more than 85 points once. And that was the year he had 104 and 41. So that was a great year. No question. But other than that, like some good years, never, ridiculously productive. Henrik had the one 112. He did have 94. So he had 2 seasons over 90. Good. But he had a 29-goal season and then a 22. And that's it. So 2 times only a 20-goal scorer. That's it. Twice.
So, when I think back to my career covering hockey players, I've always held the Sedins in the highest regard. Danny was a scorer. Henrik was such a good setup man. They're great defensive players. They were leaders. I loved everything about them. They're really good players. But when you match their stats up to Leon Draisaitl, at age 29, he's already crushed those guys.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Crushed them, right?
Well, Connor,
but not close.
Yeah, Connor McDavid is ending his first decade in the NHL this year, right?
Okay.
And now Connor McDavid is one of the greatest players of all time. Don't get me wrong, right? He's going to be up there on the Mount Rushmore of greats of greats. So if we're talking great, Connor McDavid has 1,075 points. Henrik Sedin in his career had 1,070. Daniel Sedin in his career had 1,041. So that's where I get so annoyed at times when people want to use the word great. No.
Yeah.
Like McDavid's elite. He has more points in his 10 years than those guys had in their entire career, and they played 18 seasons. Like 17, sorry, because they had the one lockout. Like the bar gets so low at times. Well, I like the guys, and and I like him too.
Well, and I think the word great is overused all over the place. That was a great play. He's a great player. Sure, I'm with you on that. But I also think there's context, like in the context of the Vancouver Canucks franchise, which frankly has never had any modicum of success. They are greats. They're 2 of the greatest players, and they're way up the list. Those guys would be not way up the list in other franchises, obviously this one. So, I think there's context there, Jay. And, people fall in love with their favorite players. Absolutely. And Edmonton Oilers fans are just, in many ways, lucky that the favorite players they fell in love with also are in the Hockey Hall of Fame with 4, 5, or 6 Stanley Cups to their name, right? You can't say that in Vancouver or Calgary, and that's, there's a lot of reasons for that, I guess. But I would say the Edmonton fans pretty lucky. They're greats. They truly are greats here, right?
Yeah, but I just look at their career. Both Sedins were identical, 0.80 points per game. 0.80. That's good, but it's that's not.
It's not great.
No, it's not remotely great.
It's got to be 1 to be even in the neighborhood of great. It's got to be a point per game, doesn't it?
Well, that's what I would think, right? You
want a bunch of cups, right? Maybe you want a bunch of cups, or you want a bunch of Art Rosses, or you want a bunch of Hearts. They were just really, really good players for a long time, 18, 17 years. They never did win a cup. So, I'm not here to beat up the Sedins. I love the Sedins. Yeah. I love the Sedins. I loved watching them play. It was an honor to get to know them. But you're right. Halfway through their careers, Draisaitl and McDavid already got them licked.
Yeah. And you look at, so Kyle Connor in his career thus far is a 0.95 point per game player. He's multiple 40-goal seasons. Multiple. Like, if you look at Kyle Connor, now he's only played 600 games, so he's got a ways to go. But you know what? His points per game is way higher than those guys were early on. And I don't think anybody would consider him in the same boat, funny enough, as Daniel Sedin. But I would make a strong argument he was a way better goal scorer.
Maybe he's a better goal scorer. Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, one thing about Daniel, you know, you can't say he didn't have an awesome distributing centerman in Henrik. And they had, as Alex Burrows so eloquently put it, they spoke that dolphin language. Like they had an edge that nobody else had, man. They fought with the same mind on some occasions, right?
Yep. No, it's very true. Spec, Connor McDavid comes back in last night. He was very honest in post-game. He's like, hey, you know what? I can only do so many tight turns, but, you know, there's a mental hurdle more than the physical hurdle for him. And I think we saw that. There was a few times in that first, second period where normally he would just go in there guns blazing into a battle, and I don't think he did. And he took a little bit shorter shifts than he normally does. So it showed from a guy who'd been out for 3 weeks. But as the game got more went on and Connor McDavid got more comfortable, then Connor McDavid took the game over.
Yeah, he became himself. Like on that last goal, you know, he took the puck deep. The one defenseman backed off him. He took it deep. The other guy followed him in the corner. Everyone was so focused on him that Connor Brown just had that soft spot, right? Because, oh my God, McDavid's got the puck. He's behind our net. Let's all watch Connor McDavid. And, you know, Connor Brown wisely finds a soft spot, gets a pass. I'm not saying he had a ton of time to do what he did, but he had a little bit of time. And watching the Oilers the last 2-3 weeks with no Draisaitl most of the time, no McDavid most of the time, you notice that you know, defenses didn't get out discombobulated. Defensive structure didn't get compromised the way it does when those two guys go to work. Guys almost panic a little, right? They almost panic a little when McDavid comes in with them, and that's what makes the Oilers hard to handle with those two guys in there.
Well, the other thing that was impressive for me, look at the Oilers, how many rebound goals that the guys right around the net, right? Podkolzin right on the crease. And, you know, you look at Arvidsson and Brown was right around the crease when he scored, which is where lots of goals are, especially as you get closer to the playoffs. And to me, slowly Edmonton, like their defense are shooting more, but there definitely seems to be more of an onus on having guys in front of the net.
Yeah, and playoff hockey demands that you get some shots through here. Playoff hockey demands that you don't, first of all, you got to get off the perimeter. You can't win in the playoffs playing the perimeter. And I'll say this, the Oilers, you know, when they fall into the sometimes a bad habit, right, of overpassing around the perimeter. We've watched it, you know, like I always say this about Bouchard, I probably said it this morning to Kevin. If I had his shot, I'd shoot 10 times a game because it's so awesome. Like he's got such a bomb. And he doesn't shoot it that often. You know what I'm saying? Like he passes so many times when you think there's probably a lane. So I think you're right, Jay. I think they're getting in playoff mode where go to the net, get a puck through, get a sloppy rebound. I mean, they scored a couple rebound goals and, you know, come playoff time, those are the goals. If you're not scoring those goals in the playoffs, you're probably not winning hockey games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. The, Calvin Pickard, I wrote it down during the game. The breakaway save he made with about 12 minutes to go was huge. And, you know, Pickard's been pretty good here. Now, we know that Rodri got sent down today, so Stuart Skinner's going to play. So, you know, he's definitely going to be able to dress. I'm assuming he's going to play tomorrow. What does Skinner have to do not to be the starter for game one?
Well, show that I mean, first of all, let's make the assumption for this conversation that his health is good and it's going to stay good. It's pretty obvious if he has a game and gets a recurring concussion, that would make Pickard your starter. But that's very obvious to me. He is going to be your starter in game one. Like to me, at this point, he has to play himself out of the job. The job's his. You know, everyone's very confident in Pickard, and that's good. And if Skinner's level to give up a start during the playoffs, if he falters, it's a lot lower than it used to be because Pickard has earned, you know, the trust of everybody. But to me, it's the job is Skinner's if he comes back in and plays as well as we know he can play, Jay. You know, give him a couple starts here. He's been off for a while, but I think, what do we got left? 4 games? How many starts you give Skinner?
Well, 2 for sure. And then you talk to him, does he want a third? That would be my question. Like, he's obviously not going to start back. He'll start Friday. And then, him and Pickard will split the back-to-backs. And then does he want another game? Is he good? That's probably going to be the question.
That's the same with me. Do you give he gets the choice on Wednesday in San Jose, game 82 of the season, for sure. And, I listen, I love what Pickard's done, and I think it's been good for the team, and he's a better goalie today than he was a month ago in my eyes. But Skinner's your number one. Skinner's going to start the series against LA. They're going to go on Skinner until he gives them reason not to.
Jake Wallman's injury kind of just crept up there out of nowhere. The coach says it's nothing, so you kind of got to believe him on that one. But it's obviously going to keep him out. It looks like tomorrow, because Cam Dineen, who did play earlier this year, is going to come up and get another game in. Oilers being ultra cautious. Is that what you sense?
Yeah, they are, and it's good for Cam Dineen. Get him in. Like, for instance, they thought they had Klingberg here as a number, a number 8. And now I'm not sure, right? Is he going to be able to help you here? Like, what's going on with Klingberg? He's got some infection. You reported, I believe.
Yes.
So if I'm the coaching staff, I think Baco's done, right? Like, they got a couple games, but I think they're not.
Well, no, they had a big win last night. It depends what happens this weekend, because Tucson's got a tough schedule, and they're 3 back, but they have a game in hand, so they're not done yet. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, poor Baco. The Oilers are stealing all their players here. Like, it's really tough for them to try to make a late season charge. Dineen's probably their best defenseman, but if I'm the Oilers, I'm happy to get Dineen into a game or 2 here, because if he's going to be I guess he's my what? Is he my number? He's going to be, if Klingberg's not in the picture, he's your number 8. And oftentimes you get 2 injuries in a playoff series, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, it can happen.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So, now here's the other one, Spec. We don't know what the forward lines are going to be. It's going to be hard to see who's healthy. But the defense, we know. Who do you have, Stetcher or Emberson right now as your number 6?
I got Stetcher.
Okay, why?
Well, I like his competitiveness, and I think, first of all, he's played really well. Like, I don't want to go through this and make it sound like Emberson's no good or he hasn't or whatever. I like Emberson too, but I like Stetcher more. And I think Stetcher, to me, first of all, he's got way more experience. I don't know what he's got for playoff games. You can look that up.
Who? Stetcher?
Stetcher, yeah.
Yeah, not many, but obviously more than Emberson, who has 0.
Yeah, right. No, I've always, this season, I've got a soft spot for Stetcher. He proves people wrong. He competes like hell. I very seldom, look at a goal where some guy went around him or he wasn't paying attention or his guy's scoring. He's not a perfect, guys get scored on. Everybody gets scored on, but I like Stetcher, and I'm not saying there isn't better out there. Of course there is. I'd rather have Stetcher at 6'4". I would. So would everybody. Or I'd rather have Stetcher who gets 50 points instead of 20 points. But for a small guy that doesn't get a lot of points, he competes like heck, and he's hard to play against, as hard as he can be. I like him. He's got chip in his shoulder, and he fights like hell to keep his job every day. So for me, he's my 6.
Yeah, he's only played 25 playoff games in his career. However, the funny thing about Troy Stetcher is and I know he's not there to be productive, but his offensive production is infinitely higher in the playoff than it is in the regular. Oh, by a mile. Yeah, like he has a goal every 5 games in the playoffs. He's got 4 in 21. He's got 22 goals in 558 regular season games. Like, it's not close, right? And then you look at his assist. He's got 7 points in 21 playoff games. He has 117 in 558. So, pretty significant difference there. I'm not saying, but the thing about Stetcher is I kind of chuckle. He's always got the permanent scowl on his face in the game. Like, he's an ultra competitive guy. And yeah, he does give up size, but man, he battles. And right now, when he moves the puck, it's way quicker than Emberson. And that might be the difference.
Yeah. No, I think that's just another thing he has over Emberson. You know what? Emberson's, he's a young guy, and this is really I mean, he just passed 100 games in the league.
Yes.
So he's got to, this is being a pro hockey player, right? There's two guys looking for one job, and Stetcher's made a whole career out of proving to people that at his size and level of production, he should be playing. And I give him credit. He won, in my eyes, he's won this job right now over Emberson. And for a guy his size, good for him, because the NHL is a hard place to be a defenseman when you're not that big.
Yeah, it's very true. Spec, fun in his career, 0.81 points per game, Doug Waite, 0.80 Sedins. Two guys are
right,
two guys are locks. And Doug Waite didn't, Doug Waite, when he came in, like his big years were, like 97, 98 offense wasn't killing it. But then by any stretch, like Doug Waite had 104, he had a 90-point season, he had 80. I just look at his career numbers are very close to the Sedins. They played more games, but he has a slightly higher points per game. But no one ever mentions Doug Waite. Like Doug Waite's in the Oilers Hall of Fame, right? Not in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but were they that much different? Honestly, right? Look at Doug Waite, actually more productive player in the playoffs. So I'm just saying, people, I know people don't like to hear it sometimes, but sometimes you got to look at the numbers sometimes, and it's, we need, there's a few reasons here. Being beloved is great. It doesn't mean you're an infinitely better player. So,
hey, speaking of numbers, I just gassed up at $1.17, so the numbers are good out here too, buddy.
No.
This is awesome.
There you go. Awesome, Spec. Have yourself a good one.
All right, man. See you at the rink tomorrow.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. I know everybody just, you don't always have to just agree with everything, but I'm telling you, do you notice it? Look at their career numbers. And those two play together almost every shift. Doug Waite didn't get to play with a guy every shift like that. And he still outscored him. So just saying. And he won a cup, if that matters to you. And he had a 100-point season, won just like them. And he had a 90-point season. Then we can look at top 10 at different times. How many times is he a top 10 scorer? Right now, he didn't win the scoring race once, like they had the one good year. But is that enough? We'll see. Quick break. We'll return a team that's a little hot right now. We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
The secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a brick store near you.
Truck month is on at Chevrolet. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on a 2025 Silverado 1500 Custom Blackout or Custom Trail Boss. With Custom Trail Boss's available class-exclusive Duramax 3-liter diesel engine and Z71 off-road package with a 2-inch factory suspension lift, you get both on-road confidence and off-road capability. Dirt road ahead. Let's go! Truck month is awesome. Ask your Chevrolet dealer for details.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast.
Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
May not mean nothing to y'all. Understand nothing was done for me, so I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this forever mine, ever mine, ever mine. Shutting down anymore. It's telling that girl she the one for me, and I ain't.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. The pizza makers at Papa John's are making you 2 or more items for $9.99 each from their Papa Pairings menu, like medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, cheese sticks, and more. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks, as always, for joining us. A few quick texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, what happened to Dermott and Brown? Did they refuse to report similar to Derek Ryan? If so, could the Orders use that as cause to terminate the Josh Brown contract in the offseason from Hampton Steve? No, not the case at all. Both of them were away as their wives were giving birth and had newborns, and so there was some extra time needed there. Travis Dermott actually returned to them last Friday. Then he got a bad dose of food poisoning and missed 3 games. But he's with them. Josh Brown's also with them, and both are expected to play this weekend. So there you have it. No, nothing. The organization's allowing guys to, you know what, Josh Brown, when he signed in Edmonton, they got a house here. His family's actually been in Edmonton the whole time while he's there. So it's not ideal. Sometimes you have to look at the family situation. You're not gonna be like, oh, I don't like the player, I don't like his money, so we're gonna no. It's best to always ask, and that's the case there. Travis Dermott, when he got claimed on waivers again, then his wife obviously wasn't coming, and then she gave birth, and so he wanted to be there for that, and there were some complications. And everything's good now, and so then he rejoined the team. So it's some family stuff, and that's what they mean looking for. Let's get to a little baseball report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. It's warming up. You're going to think AC unit in here. Don't wait till you got SWAS and it's too long. Plan ahead, legacyheating.ca. As the Toronto Blue Jays were looking for the sweep of 4 games against the Boston Red Sox, but just came up short in extra innings today, losing Thomas Hall from Jays Nation. Joins us. Thomas, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Not the greatest outcome for the Blue Jays, obviously, today, losing a nail biter. But anytime you can take 3 or 4 against the Red Sox at Fenway Park, it's certainly a moral victory, to say the least, for the team on a day like this.
Yeah, the big thing for the Jays is, their bats got to get going. Now, they did score 1 run in the top of the 10th, but then gave up 2 in the bottom, so not ideal. But, they've been winning with pitching here lately because they're not getting any runs.
They have, yeah. I mean, the pitching staff, both the starting rotation, the bullpen, they've been great so far. Entering today, the starting rotation since March 30th led the majors in ERA. So they're doing their job there. You're right. The offense has to pick it up. They have to start hitting for some power here, namely Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Anthony Santander. Those are the biggest bats in the Blue Jays lineup, and neither of them have gone deep yet this season. And same with Bo Bichette. Amazingly, the Blue Jays have been able to manufacture runs and win games while somebody like George Springer has been one of their better hitters so far, and they're getting contributions lower down in the lineup. Guys like Tyler Heineman, Miles Straw, 2 guys entering this season you wouldn't have thought, hey, they're going to factor heavily into the offense, but they have. But ultimately, for this team to sustain this type of winning success that they've gotten off to here, they're going to have to score a lot more runs.
Yeah, they definitely. What are you not seeing from Guerrero at the plate?
Boy, it's power, right? He's getting some hits. He's making some hard contact. He's doing a lot of the things that you would expect him to do. It's just not going over the fence yet. That's going to come. And same with Anthony Santander too. Like, both of those guys are too talented not to get going eventually. But unfortunately for both of them, they're struggling at the same time right out of the gate. And that's kind of put the Blue Jays in a very tough position offensively.
Yeah. I wondered how much the negotiations, I know they said they were negotiation. Obviously they were, because he ended up with a massive deal, and you thought, hey, maybe that would relax him a little bit. And, he's trying to do too much, who knows, but you're only as good as your best players, and the Jays got no chance if those two don't start hitting. And as you mentioned, with power, what about Bichette? How would you evaluate his start?
Yeah, it's been really impressive too. He's gotten off to a really strong start, despite not hitting for much power at all. But ever since day one of spring training, Bo Bichette has looked like the guy he was prior to last season. And that's exactly what the Blue Jays need. They need him to get back to the all-star player that he was a few years ago. So he's settled right into that leadoff spot pretty perfectly, honestly, getting on base at a really high clip, walking more than I think some people would expect him to, striking out very little too. So Bo Bichette's getting off to a really good start. You'd like to see him hit for a little bit more power too, but he's doing as much as he can at the top of the order. They just need to start driving him in with, your best hitters in Vlad and Santander.
Do you see him re-signing in Toronto?
Yeah, it's a very challenging question, because obviously extending Vladdy, it has to help your chances of making a compelling pitch to Bo and saying, look, everything that Bichette has said publicly in the past, he wants to stay here. He wants to compete for World Series with one of his best friends in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And now he has the opportunity to do that. So I don't think we're going to see any sort of extension happen anytime soon for Bo. Given that he had such a bad year last season, he's going to have to build back up his production, because at this point, if he were to sign any sort of deal with the Blue Jays, he would be lowballing himself. And when a player of his caliber has a chance to enter free agency, especially now that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is off the market, I kind of lean towards the idea of Bo entering free agency and testing the waters, but he could also use that to his advantage and still come back to the Blue Jays. That's always a possibility too, even if he does ultimately test free agency. I think it's in the best interest of the Blue Jays to bring him back. And now that they have Vladdy locked in for the next decade plus, they've picked their direction as a franchise. And so the best way to continue to move forward and build towards sustaining this competitive window is through extending Bo Bichette. So, whatever happens between now and whenever he signs his next deal, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I would be a little surprised if he wasn't still wearing a Toronto Blue Jays uniform come next season.
Thomas Hall joins us talking Blue Jays. You mentioned the starting rotation. Well, it's been great, right? Basically, outside of maybe the first start or two, other than that, it's been phenomenal for them. Now, I'm not saying they're going to lead the majors in ERA, but do you think for the most part it's sustainable if they stay healthy?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the key, right? They have to stay healthy. But to the Blue Jays' credit, they have done an incredible job over the last number of years keeping their starters healthy. The Blue Jays wouldn't be where they are right now without Jose Barrios, Kevin Gausman, and Chris Bassett leading the way, being as durable as they've been. They're three horses essentially in how much they start year after year for this team. And so if that continues, then yeah, I think the Blue Jays have a really good shot of having one of the best rotations in the American League, if not of the entire major leagues. And what they've gotten out of Bowden Francis to start this season has been really encouraging too. And, I didn't expect the two phenomenal starts that we've seen out of Easton Lucas, but if he can really hold the fort down in that fifth starter's role while Max Scherzer recovers from his thumb nerve issue thing, then they're really going to be set. But again, like we've been talking about, those guys are working with such little margin for error right now because of the lack of consistent run production.
What's your thoughts on Sturzer? He's an older guy. This was an issue basically the entire season. Do you think they'll sort it out?
Yeah, I really couldn't say. It's, I don't even know if the Blue Jays know right now too, because it's such a delicate issue with it being a nerve discomfort issue that he's dealing with here, and something that plagued him all of last season. And Scherzer even said this is something that he's been dealing with on and off since 2023. So, for right now, it sounds like surgery is off the table, but it doesn't sound like we have any sort of idea as to when Scherzer could be back on a mound, just even throwing a bullpen session, let alone pitching in a game for the Blue Jays. So it's hard to say whether or not this thing is going to linger throughout the entire season. I think it's probably going to. I think if Scherzer does return from the IL and is able to get back pitching for the Blue Jays again, it's probably going to be something they have to manage throughout the rest of this season. And how they get to that point is going to be the biggest question to be answered.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Around the league, any big surprises to you? I know it's super early in a 162-game season, but early on, surprise, positive or negative for you?
I think, not to be too negative here, but I think the Atlanta Braves being 2-9 right now, the way they've started the season, that's been one of the biggest early storylines for me. They're certainly missing Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider, who it seems like he could be back very soon after having a really strong rehab game this afternoon. But they're too talented not to get it going, but you also have to look at the fact that NL East division is incredibly tough with the Mets and the Phillies, and even the Washington Nationals looking to take a step forward this season and not be the same pushover team that they were in years past. But I think as well too, like something that's really stood out to me early on is how competitive and dominant the NL West division has been, and very well could be throughout all of this season. Like we might be looking at a scenario where for the first time in a while, the AL East is not the hardest division in the sport, which is certainly saying something.
Yeah, and probably good for the Jays. That give them a better chance to be competitive. Thomas, great stuff, man. We appreciate the rundown. Enjoy the games.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
It's Thomas Hall from Blue Jays, or just Jays Nation. 5:42. We'll come back, update you on the Edmonton Oilers. What is up there tomorrow night? The San Jose Sharks come to town. Old school game last night, if you missed it. And we did touch on it a little bit, but man, what a choke job by the Calgary Flames last night. Like they had slim hopes to make it anyway, but pretty much punched their ticket that they're not making the playoffs now as they gassed a 3-1 lead, allowed 2 goals in 8 seconds. Yowza. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
A secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you can rest easy that you're getting quality Japanese vehicles, not tariffs. Purchase a 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander at 0% for 84 months with no payments for 90 days, or get $9,700 off when you lease. Add in a $1,000 Conquest rebate and another $1,000 loyalty rebate. You can lease from $31,748 or as low as $119 a week with zero down. See Cross Mitsubishi in-store for details. 9605 34th Avenue and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
The federal election is on Monday, April 28th. Make sure you're registered to vote. If you are, you should get a voter information card in the mail. It tells you where and when you can vote. If you don't get one by April 11th, or if the information on it is incorrect, visit elections.ca.
For the official information you need to vote, visit elections.ca or call 1-800-463-6868. It's our vote.
It's another big goal for number one, Titan Supply. Dominating this series. Looks like a clean sweep.
Spring cleanup is an easy win with Titan Supply. Not only can you trust them to lift, dig, and haul, but with their spring special on industrial brooms, cleaning grime, rocks, and dirt from parking lots, streets, and more is a breeze. Their service inspections help ensure you're safe and ready for the upcoming season. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through, lovely. Thursday, positive Friday tomorrow. Remember, we're going to have a fun little auction tomorrow. Starting thinking the boys this summer, a little baseball and some beers. And so we'll have some fun with that. So tune in tomorrow. Also, let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,000. Great vehicle, better services at Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. The Oilers day off today. They'll play tomorrow. Then that starts 3 games in 4 days. So don't expect them to practice on Saturday. They will travel to Winnipeg, take on the Jets. The Sharks are in town tomorrow. Sharks were in Minnesota last night. Marc-Andre Fleury allowed 7 goals, but got the win. I'd like to know how many times in his career Marc-Andre Fleury's allowed 7 goals and got a win. I might have to look that up. I'd be curious. But the Sharks, hey, they made it entertaining. They give up a lot. They score a lot. The Oilers, you play sound defensively and play patient, you'll get your opportunities against the Sharks. There's no doubt in my mind. The Oilers did make some moves today. Stuart Skinner is going to be ready to play tomorrow. I would assume it's going to be at the starter's role. There's a chance could be a backup because Olivier Rodrigue has been reassigned to Bakersfield. They've also recalled Cam Dineen on an emergency basis. He's going to replace Jake Wallman as Wallman's out, Ekholm's out, Klingberg's on LTIR now for the Edmonton Oilers. So Dineen could come in and be the sixth defenseman tomorrow night alongside Nurse and Kulak as the left D. Those guys played 29 and 28 minutes, as did Evan Bouchard last game. So no shortage of ice time for them. Meanwhile, up front, Leon Draisaitl is going to skate tomorrow in the morning skate. Then he's going to speak to the media, which usually is a sign he's getting pretty close to playing. So you might see number 29 back in the lineup tomorrow night. We'll find out at the morning skate. Nugent Hopkins was sick. Will he be better? Are they just going to be ultra patient with him and give him an extra day off? Very possible. We'll find out at the morning skate. But the fact that Draisaitl is going to be speaking tells me he's pretty close. So just a matter of when. I think him, like everybody else, would like to get in a few games if he could. He said his last injury had nothing to do with his first one. Everybody saw him fall awkwardly when he tripped going down the boards. So I guess we'll see where he's at tomorrow. Other news, Trent Frederick went and got some more testing. We'll find out tomorrow what the results were. But, man, I'm thinking Trent Frederick, you're probably not going to see him till the playoffs. Evander Kane, not going to go on a conditioning stint because he still hasn't been cleared to play. Not even ready to play in the American League. You know what? He's got to get a few more tests. So as of this point today, now that could change in a week. Today, that means he's still not cleared yet, ready to go for the playoffs. But in a week, maybe he is. We'll find out. So Matthias Ekholm also not expected to play tomorrow, but still trending in the right direction. He's been skating, feeling good. I could see Ekholm getting in 1, maybe 2 games down the stretch. That's kind of what I think there. And I know normally the Oilers might have that final game against San Jose where they don't dress anybody. This year, because so many guys have been hurt, they might you might end up seeing a few more guys in that game than you normally would think. We got a lot of texts about the goaltending on whether or not it'll be Skinner or Pickard. I still believe that Stuart Skinner, just based on the whole season, as being the guy they thought was their starter. Now, Calvin Pickard's come in, filled in very well. And so Stuart Skinner's going to come back. How's he going to look? You know, if he's rusty for a game, they're not going to freak out. It's 1 game. But if the second game's not good, well, then there might be a conversation for the playoffs. So I think you're going to see Skinner play at least 2 of the final 4. We know that Pickard's going to play 1 of the back-to-back, obviously. And then it's a matter of, does Skinner want that final game against the Sharks next Wednesday? Or does he feel he's good enough? That, to me, will be the interesting question to watch in that regard. But I still think it's Stuart Skinner's job to kind of lose in regards to the playoffs. Will I be surprised that both goalies play in the playoffs? I will not. As for the forward lines, your guess is as good as mine. Do I think Brown and Skinner are going to be the guys to start the playoffs with McDavid? No. I think that was a last night lineup. I still think when all's said and done, when game 1 of the playoffs start, I think Zach Hyman's going to be on McDavid's right wing. But who's going to be on the left side? We shall see. Could be Jeff Skinner, the way he's played as of late. I probably would lean towards that, in fact. Games tonight that have playoff implications, not many, to be honest. There is the Panther game that's got a little bit of seeding, and then the Jets and the Stars. Now, if Dallas still believes they got a chance to catch the Jets, they got to win in regulation tonight. And other than that, I guess the Golden Knights hosting Seattle. If you still think LA has a chance to catch the Golden Knights, then yeah. But they win tonight, then they're 7 up on LA. LA has 5 games to go, but they're 7 up. So, you know, they'd be 8 points ahead of LA if they win. And then, so if you're Vegas after that, if you win 1 of your games after that, then LA has to go 5-0 and they still can't catch you. So all Vegas has to do is go 2-2 down the stretch and LA can't catch them. So I think it's going to be LA and Edmonton. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't see that at all. And that's the matchup cons. Like at this point, if I'm Edmonton, LA is the team I want to face. Honestly, I think I would rather face LA than Vegas in the first round.
I mean, we saw it on Saturday, Gregor. Oilers down a bunch of key members. Didn't have Trent Frederick for a good chunk of the game. And I didn't think the Kings looked that good. So I'm with you. I think the Oilers have more players on their roster that can elevate their game when it matters than the Kings. And I think Vegas has more than the Kings as well.
On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, all of our guests today, if you missed any, go to jasongregor.com. The individual interviews are there, or anywhere where you get your podcasts. You can get the Jason Gregor Show. As the Con Man uploads it super quick. Enjoy the night. We'll have Positive Friday tomorrow. We'll have a fun little auction for you. Set up the orders. Also, we'll talk about the big game. Do the Flames have a chance? I don't think so, but you never know. They're hosting the Wild. We'll get to that. And more. Talk a little Masters as well. Let's get to the Con Man now and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring plumbers and HVAC installers. Go to legacyheating.ca if you're looking for competitive wages, hiring bonus, matching RSPs, tuition reimbursement, and more. Legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night on the ice in the NHL. David Pasternak's 42nd on the season as the Bruins are on top of the Blackhawks after 20 minutes. Red Wings lead the Panthers 1-0. Sabres on top of the Jackets 2-1 midway through the first. Caps and Hurricanes scoreless. And in New York, the Islanders trail the Rangers 1-0. Later tonight, Stars host the Jets. Canucks in Colorado. Utah taking on the Preds. The Kraken are in Sin City, and the Kings hosting the Anaheim Ducks. NBA action tonight. Knicks right now lead the Pistons 49-42 in the second quarter. Also in the second, the Cavs on top of the Pacers 47-38. And early in the first, Hawks having their way with the Nets, leading 20-4. Later tonight, Bucks host the Pelicans, and the Timberwolves head to Memphis. Earlier today, the Toronto Blue Jays falling in extras to the Red Sox 4-3. Also, Rockies over the Brewers 7-2. Twins losing to the Royals 3-2, and the Guardians over the White Sox 6-1. Angels beating up on the Rays 11-1. One game going on right now. Braves and Phillies tied at 1 apiece. After one round at the Masters, Justin Rose atop the leaderboard at 7 under par. Canadian Corey Connors tied with Scotty Scheffler and Ludwig Oberg at 4 under. As for the other Canadians in the field, Nick Taylor 1 over, Mike Weir 3 over, and Taylor Pendrith is a +5. WHL playoffs tonight, semifinal action. Hurricanes in Calgary taking on the Hitmen. That will get going at 7 o'clock. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night. Local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius, Brandon Douglas, and guest host Eddie Steele. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting